we do have Iroquois versus Japan. So kind of this is like a classic new age matchup. I feel like on EP, and on a new map nonetheless. So relatively equal matchup, I'd say, and we'll just see how both players play it.
Yeah, Iroquois has been pretty popular. Again, this is on the EP8. We're not on the beta for this series, but Iroquois has been one of the series that has been very popular on EP8, and this is one of the maps that we saw a lot of play during EPL, where I think we saw a lot of really cool strategies utilizing different aspects of the choke points in the map. I think that if it goes long, that's going to be something that Knighting Star is going to be able to take advantage of, just being able to kind of jam infantry into these chokes and be so hard for Iroquois to get good flanks on. But yeah, Keister, yeah, he's probably. I imagine he'll start off playing somewhat aggressively, and then try to transition from there. But that remains to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, there like one important feature of this map to point out is that there are 4 trading posts, but these trading routes are split. So, for instance, if you were to upgrade Stagecoach at one of these northern trading posts, it wouldn't affect the 2 in the southern half of the map. So, if Keister wants to go for some sort of like aggressive 4 TP Stagecoach play, he will have to invest 400 resources instead of, or 800 resources instead of the normal 400 to get that entire trading route. So Stagecoach is viable on this map, but it just requires a little bit more investment. And meanwhile, Knighting Star is going to try to pick up 110 coin, but Keister sees that right away, and it looks like we're going to see our first contention here.
It could be it's one of these things where you could get the lucky set of defined strikes and then just take it before that. But it looks like Keister is going to get here in time. Ooh, and I think he gets that treasure. Nice pickup by him.
Yeah, a little bit
Um,
of walking time there for the Japanese hero.
Unfortunate for Knighting Star as well. The 110 coin, not the most useful of the treasures. I think there's kind of a famous H2O quote in one of the Japan guides where he says, ignore every single coin treasure on the base on the map. They're not useful at Japan. Just go for the other
Yeah,
stuff. But even so, 110 coin, especially going over to your opponent, is gotta hurt.
yeah, that's roughly a 220 coin swing here, and Hero will be able to use that. Maybe not H1 so much, but it's gonna help. If they choose to stay H2 for a bit, they can get that woodcutting upgrade. They can probably sneak that in pretty easily, or just mine a little bit less if they want to go for an FF. And just overall, it's going to speed up this build quite a bit. And Hero is already a relatively fast civ, so that could be a little bit scary for Japan.
Right. An interesting thing that happened as a consequence of that treasure contention in the middle as well was that Knighting Star had to portal out of that, and I think his plan was probably to take that treasure and then immediately build a shrine right down in the middle of the map. But now he's been forced to put it in base, and that's gonna it's gonna make it a little bit more inconvenient. He still has another place to put it down is Tishogu, just in the back here with the beers. But I think he did send Heavenly Kami first. He's probably going to be wanting to spread his shrines out all over the map. The typical thing you do is you put your shrines far away first, and then you slowly build inwards as you lose the harder to defend shrines.
Yeah.
Here he's kind of forced to put this defensive one, which yeah, just a nice age one for Kaister. Not so great for Knighting Star so far, but he's getting that wolf treasure now.
Yeah, Wolf will help him scout, especially in transition, because he sent Kami, like you said, his game plan is going to be to just slam down a lot of shrines everywhere. So as a consequence, Japan sometimes really struggles to scout what the opponent is doing in transition. But this Wolf is the third scout he can kind of throw around mid-map, and he's actually going to pick up another scouting unit with this Wolf. So won't be lacking any scouts, that's for sure. But it's going to slow down his shrine boom just a bit. He's already started aging with that Toshuga.
Yeah, getting that Shoshona scout is going to be great for Knighting Star though. I'm a big fan of these scouts. Especially undetected, they can give you just so much during the course of the game. Looks like we got one forward villager out of Kaister. Might be just a herding villager right now. We'll have to see. But that scout is going to be nice for Knighting Star. We'll see. Okay, yeah, he's starting to lay down more shrines. His explorers are pretty low on hit points. He's got to be a little bit careful about that. But for the moment, Kaister is kind of on the other side of the map, just taking a peek into the base, seeing what's up now.
Yeah, he is going to see that Portuguese consulate. Isn't going to venture so far to check out the Wonder. Maybe he's a little afraid of losing his hero, but he is full HP. And interesting from kaister, we do see an in-base War Hut. So he's definitely going to go for, if not a naked FF, he could make some units, siege down some shrines, and go for a semi. But he's definitely not going to do anything too aggressive. So I do believe that 19 Star has scouted that. He's got the wolf scouting the area close to his base and this native scout in mid-map. So he should know that he can be a little greedy here, and it'll just be up to kaister to see if his timing can hit fast enough before Japan kind of snowballs in the late game.
Yeah. Looks like kaister is going for that, pretty greedy play at the beginning, going for 5 villagers as his first H2 card, getting that second trading post up. Well, we may even and stagecoach just coming in now as well.
Nice.
So taking advantage of 19 Star's naturally slow start as Japan to put in a lot of greed. Surprised to not see a market yet, but I imagine that one of those will be coming down probably with this next great shipment. And so I agree. It's probably looking like an early H2 just boom up a little bit and then going into H3 and playing this game out from there.
Yeah, I think so. 19 Stars on 90 Shrine Pop, so that's pretty nice, pretty standard. I would like to see some shrines maybe on kaister side of the map.
Right.
But the ones he has now are pretty defensible. And kaister going to pick up a Nuka Clubman. Why not? I guess you just want to be active with your heroes, so it doesn't hurt anything. But yeah, that early stagecoach is really nice for kaister. He got that in right when 19 Star just reached H2, so he's got a pretty good eco. And it's going to match the Japanese eco, if not be slightly ahead of it for the next several minutes. So once he gets that age up in queue, that forward military building and perhaps shipment point, I think it could be a tough push for 19 Star to hold. And I don't know if he's going to choose to stay H2 or try to age up himself. He's just now adding 2 barracks in the back of his base.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision. I think the thing with 19 Star right now is I don't know if he has any information on what kaister is up to. He has some scouts around, but I'm not even sure if he knows about this in-base war hut. He might be able to predict that by virtue of not seeing a forward one. But the 2 racks does indicate that he's going to try to stay H2, which does give kaister an opportunity here to make something happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to check text completed. So Japan actually only has their first 2 berry gathering upgrades and no other market upgrades, and kaister just researched hunting dog. So both players a little lacking in the market upgrades department. If I hop on over to units in queue, 19 Star has those 2 barracks, but nothing in queue right now. So he is macroing to age, it looks like, but the issue is kaister's already up. And he is just going to throw down an in-base stable. So all of his units are going to have to be walking from his base. So that is going to buy 19 Star a little bit of time. I'm looking at kaister's deck. Like, is it possible we actually see an FI? I doubt it. But he's
clicking the deck really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some cards in H4, like maybe more than you would otherwise have.
Yeah, it's always hard to say with Iroquois because they don't have a lot of good age 1 cards. Is what I think is the case. And so it is kind of common to see this set of 4 in age 4. Sometimes you won't see the 1800 and 1500 grade. Some people will cut the 1800 and just go with that infinite 1500.
Mm-hmm.
Things along those lines. I think H4 is a possibility, but this deck isn't maybe it's not too suspect. I could definitely see him staying H3, but yeah, putting these this war hut in the stable in base does mean that 19 Star is going to be able to go up to 3 pretty much unpunished or unharassed, and so we'll probably see this game just take place over a longer period in H3.
Yeah, this is interesting. One thing I am thinking about recently is the way that Mito's been playing Iroquois. Well, really a lot of civs, if you've been watching his games in this tournament, as he's making mostly infantry-based compositions. And I know with Iroquois, he'll, for instance, that first Travois, he might lay down mid-map, and when he ages, he'll use his H3 Travois to make another war hut, and then he'll just go Tomahawk, Forest Prowler. And this has advantages kind of over the cavalry based compositions because there's a little bit more siege with it, and in that respect, it can hit a little bit harder. But it looks like Kaister is actually investing into Kanya's and getting that elite upgrade right now. So I like this. I feel like Musket Rider Joaquina is just too passive versus Japan, and here we've got a big cap batch, and that elite upgrade is just coming in now, and this is really nice timing, and Nighting Star is going to struggle to hold it.
Yeah, that was actually quite impressive out of Kaister, coming in just with 5+6 Kanyas and coming out way before Nighting Star really had anything that could deal with this. You saw Nighting Star, started with that 7 Vestero shipment, another 6H up for Yumi, but just no anti-cav around on the base. And Kaister is cleaning up that pretty early. He's not going to be able to, take down the town center from here, but it's put Nighting Star definitely on the back foot. He's sending 8 Ashikaru now. He's got another 3 that he made. But there's enough Forest Prowlers to deal with this, certainly. And actually, I think the Kanya can just move into this as well and get a nice snare.
Yeah, but the Ashy are buying a lot of time, but Kaister is choosing not to pursue them. So he's just going to sit under this TC. He's probably idling, like, I don't know, 20, 30 villagers right now inside this TC. Oh, I can just look, 26. And so, I mean, Nighting Star has to stall somehow, but also he's going to struggle to get enough resources to get units out while he's idled like this. And I don't know. I think he's got to wait for his... Okay, so his second H3 shipment just came in. He's gone back-to-back 8 Ashy, and that's a lot of Ashy, but the problem is Forest Prowlers are pretty good. And Ashy aren't even the best anti-cavalry musketeer unit. They're a little underwhelming until they get some of their other upgrades. So this composition from Kaister does really well. And I think he is going to be able to just, like, siege this TC down.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. Nighting Star is, he has that 200 Shrine Pop, so he's getting a lot of gold income, but it's not enough to actually make, real batches of these Ashy right now. It is going to go for a Villager Pop, it's, kind of a distraction on there, and doing some nice fighting with the villagers, catching some of those Forest Prowlers, but still a large number of Forest Prowlers left, and Kaister's doing a good job pulling them back, and the Ashy mass has gotten to the point where it is going to be a little tough to just move into it, possibly. But this town center is dangerously close to falling. I think that Kaister is just going to go for it, using these Forest Prowlers as sort of a buffer. And then from there, it's going to be really tough for Nighting Star to come back into this.
Yeah, as this TC falls, Nighting Star has a shipment stacked, but he's going to have no place to really send it. And, perhaps with another shipment arriving, he could have held that, but this TC goes down, and now he's just going to start running with the villagers. But the problem is... these Ashy Gars are just going to get picked off, and these Kanyas are going to be able to snuff out these villagers. There's not a whole lot of places for them to hide, and he is going to call GG in game number 1. Goes over to Kaister in relatively quick fashion, just a 12-minute game there, and well, I mean that's win number 1 with his native Civ, but like we said, Kaister might have to broaden his Civ pool this series, and perhaps Nighting Star could take advantage of that.
Yeah. That is a good point. That Kaister's won most of this tournament so far off the back of all native civs, and he does in the best of 7 have to play at least one non-native civ, and that could be Nighting Star's chance to stage sort of a comeback. That said, yeah, from this I think we saw convincing win by Kaister. He kind of came in with the perfect timing, cleared out a lot of units that Nighting Star had, and then Nighting Star was just never able to mass up anything that could deal with what Kaister had. He just confidently was able to sit under the town center, keep him idle, and win the game off that. So very strong showing out of Kaister so far, and likely we'll see that continue as he goes into Sioux, as he goes into his Aztecs. Just after that point, where we'll have to figure out something. But I think Iroquois, they translate pretty well into say French or some of the more standard Euro civs. I think if this is an indicator of any skill difference between the two players, I think Kaister's in pretty good shape so far.
I think so too. I'm looking at some of the post-game graphs. Kaister's actually ahead of resources gathered the entire game.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I think he just executed a really clean build. That's just sort of, I guess, standard meta kind of timing-based play. But I wonder if Nighting Star's lack of market upgrades, maybe. I don't know if I can hop on over to text completed now. I can't. But I think even though he's on 200 Shrine Pop and shipped Heavenly Kami, I just don't know why his economy wasn't a little bit better. I think he was sort of lacking on market upgrades. But I'm going to hop out of this one, and we'll get on over to game number 2. So in this Stay-at-Home Cup format, I do believe now that Nighting Star gets to select the next map from his map pool. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. And he has picked Kamchatka as his map.
Okay. That's a pretty standard one.
Well, it is a no TP map, and yeah, I think they Kaister just went the snap Aztec pick. Makes sense. It's a no TP map. It's pretty open. It's one of these maps where you see a lot of Aztecs, a lot of Russians, a bit of Dutch, and no surprise that Kaiser's kind of like immediately tracking onto that. If Nighting Star, clicking I don't expect him to stay on Japan in this situation. It's just not. It's a pretty rough matchup. I think all things considered. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he were to switch. I know Nighting Star. Looking at some of the games he played in the past, we could see Brits, and nice. Getting all my calls right tonight. So Brits versus Aztecs. Looks like both players are ready, and we're going to go right into game 2.
Nice. I like this quick turnaround. I was wondering Brits too. I thought maybe we could see an Aztec mirror, but this is, I think actually a lot of players would say this is maybe British favored. I think it's a very close matchup, but it's easier to play from the Aztec side, I think, because you just kind of go for just a rush/contain style, and you don't have to worry about having good villager defense and not losing village. It's kind of, I think it's kind of on Brits to hold the initial pressure, but if they can do that and not sacrifice too much of their economy, they should be in a pretty good spot. But I don't know, I'm just having flashbacks to how many times I played this matchup from the British side, and I always lose it, and just getting kind of tilted. But
it's certainly a matchup where, as Brits, I don't think it's necessarily unfavored or winnable by any means. But it is one where you could easily just die if you don't have very strong defense.
Yeah.
You really need to play it well. Nighting Star, I have to admit, I'm not feeling the housing and market placement at the moment. I kind of would have preferred he would put them in front of his base. He is starting with a market. That is important to note. But the fact that they are behind the base is going to make it a little harder for him to hold certain positions, going into colonial. I guess my question is as British in this matchup, do you try to go like longbow defense, or do you do more like musket stuff, more hussars?
Well, when I talked to Diarrhea about this matchup, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and so Aztec has been kind of buffed since then. Brit's relatively unchanged, but he would. Diarrhea is a big fan of Virginia Company, and he would say, just shift Virginia Company, make 5 longbows, and you should be able to hold any rush with Minutemen. I always thought that was a little crazy, because it just never really worked out for me in practice. But I do think that starting longbows is a pretty good idea, just because coyotes are pretty weak, though, before coyote combat. And the Macelton Puma rush is such a threat. You can't really hold it if you start stable. Starting stable is kind of like a suicide wish in this matchup. So you're really only left with longbows, but that's okay. But I mean, I did kind of want to briefly touch on this manor and market placement, because I agree. Traditionally, you would see those in front of the base to kind of obstruct pathing and be a little bit more of a defensive barricade for Nighting Star, but on EP, these manors do give more kill XP to the opponent, and Aztec, with that passive hero bonus, if you have manors in front of your base, it can sometimes be a death wish. And if you go for if you sacrifice some economy and cut your manor boom short to survive the rush, you can't really afford to lose any manors as well. So, I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I think that it's kind of a fine idea in this matchup.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah, that you bring up, because I do know Aztec have that triple XP when on a kill. sort of thing. That can be a huge pain. It is one of the reasons why the Japan matchup is so rough, because they just start killing all your shrines and getting like shipments per shrine to kill.
Yeah.
We got a donation just now, or a subscription. Thank you, Give You Anxiety, for subscribing to ESOC TV.
Thanks, Mark.
I think this is where I have to plug something. So
Plug it.
all the donations during this cup, as we've mentioned, go to the Sacred Home Charity Foundation, which supports at-risk families in the Santa Clara County of California. Actually, I happen to live very close to Santa Clara County. Not currently, but I used to live, just a couple of miles from the border. So
Wow.
something that it personally does I have some connection to, and it's great to see donations rolling in to support these families there. So Fighting Frenchman as well just gifted the sub. Thanks very much. It's always appreciated. He's actually been one of the gift leaders. I see third place right now at 35 gifted subs.
Yeah, he's kind of maybe boosting his stock for his upcoming Mod the Year campaign. I heard that that's in the works. Also, let's just keep on going with the plugs here. I'm really looking forward to the Basement Telethon, which I think should still be occurring sometime this year, which is sort of an annual Age of Empires 3 charity event. And especially with this recent announcement of Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition, I'm going to be talking to Fighting Frenchman, aka the Ears, see if a date for that can be released soon. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's one of the events that went down every year. Didn't happen this year yet, but it's certainly possible that we'll have one this year or maybe early next year. Always a fun event. I know you participate in it in a lot of ways. I've also contributed to that. But it's a great event when it happens. And there's a lot of great rewards too when the ER actually remembers to give them out.
Yeah.
Coming
Cool.
back to the game,
Yep.
I think Kaister is. Okay, he's just staying up now. So, trying to think, is this somewhat the age up? It is like 5 minutes.
Yeah, this seems so late. I mean, I know he didn't age fast and he went with these 2 war huts, but 5 minutes is approaching Jerome tier India age up time. So he's gonna lay both of these in his base, and I actually wasn't really paying too much to the gameplay to see what would have caused him to age up like quite that late. I don't know if he went for a really greedy market opening, but nonetheless, the in-base war huts kind of tells you, well, obviously he's not really going to be aggressive in H2 and probably going to go for some sort of FF style here. And I don't know if Knighting Star has scouted that. He's got his hero back here, and of course he can kind of scout the late age up time. And he did lay down a stable, and now he's got an in-base rack. So this is interesting. I don't know if he's going to gear up for like an H2 timing push. But he does get 4 Hussars out, and he's going to start harassing the space. But this is really tough to harass. You have all of these war huts which can dance for warriors, and also they are almost like Hussars in their own combat capabilities. And also you have these 2 war huts and the town center. This is going to be really tough for Knighting Star to push into.
Right.
I would just like to see him go for a big crazy boom, But that's my play style no matter what. So.
Yeah. So one thing I was thinking is maybe Kaister is going to go for some sort of FI, considering that he's doing these in-base war huts, considering that I believe he's doing a Warlord Priest Boom right now. Yeah. But we don't see the H3 card, War Chief card in the deck, which I believe is one of the important cards. He has that H1 War Chief card, which is quite a strong one. And the rest of the deck kind of does allow you to go for some H4 thing, but without that H3 card, I feel like that's an important one. Give You Anxiety, gifting a sub to Garya, AoE3. Thank you again, Give You Anxiety.
Nice.
For your but yeah, looks like Kaister is content to do this Warrior Priest Boom. He did put these 2 war huts in base and has now been making a bunch of Coyote runners. Knighting Star, meanwhile, I feel like he's got to be glad that he's not being currently pressured with 20 Pumas in his base or anything like that. He is given some liberty to kind of roam all over the map. But yeah, as you say, it is going to be tough to actually do anything with these Hussars, like any meaningful damage outside of just. Well, he might pick up a villager here. That would be nice.
That would be nice. And this style of Aztec play it is slow, so it is pretty susceptible to timings. Aztec can get away with it just because they're so good at holding it with this fire pit and War Hudson, etc. I I'm hesitant to think it's an FI just because that style of play was so heavily nerfed on EP.
Right.
And as you rightfully pointed out, there's no smoke and mirror card. But and also, I want to point out when I say nerfed, I mean several bugs were fixed, which the strategy exploited. So I don't think there's like an ESOC lobby there or anything. But
Yeah, some people have some very strong opinions about
yeah,
whether it would be a bug or not, but
I'll just
or
leave
whether
it.
or not they should be fixed, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna insert my opinion and then not talk about anything else. So.
Yeah.
Uh, But Kaiser is up to 10 Warrior Priest now, so his Warrior Priest boom is completed, and now you can start pumping out shipments, get aged up. And but he's choosing to make some units because I think he feels that there's some pressure coming. But once he is in H3, he will have access to strong units like the Eagle Runner Knights, uh, pretty much just the Eagle Runner Knights, but they're super strong. So sometimes that's all you need.
Nighting Star is actually, seeing that all these in-base stuff, he's actually expanding out onto the map. He's spreading his villagers a little bit, putting up manors all over the place, putting up a forward barracks as well, which I think is quite nice. You know, I do feel like Nighting Star has gotten some, he's gotten a lot of breathing room as British right now,
Yeah.
which is it's a comfortable position to be in. So even though I wouldn't say he's drastically ahead or anything, I think that he's got to be feeling good about this one compared to the last game.
Well,
Where,
yeah, here's something to point out too that I just kind of thought of. I was looking at Nighting Star's Elo before the series, and it looks like he practices with For Justice a lot. They're both a part of the Chinese community, and if you are aware, For Justice is a lot of Aztec FI games that he's played in tournaments,
yeah,
or at least this Warrior Priest style kind of FF boom. So I think Nighting Star probably has a decent amount of experience playing against us, and I think he's doing a pretty good job so far. And I think Keister feels so threatened that he's just going to stage two. Like he's not trying to age up at all.
yeah,
But
getting a good read with this explorer as well, getting
yeah,
kind of a exact knowledge of the composition. Um, Kaiser's army is maybe a little bit bigger here, especially with these Mace Waltons coming in. So Nighting Star might want to be a little careful about this. There's not a lot of Hussars, and they go down very quickly in the first phase.
yeah,
He is getting
yeah. This is a huge mass from Aztec. Like another big timing, which Keister seems to just be employing really well so far in the series. And this is going to be cleanup for Aztec. No way, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And nice micro there from both players. But I mean, Brits just didn't really have the military to work with there. And the Zoo to Stuff principle is coming into effect. And Fighting Frenchmen just donated $12. Let's get rid of. Okay, nice. Let's get rid of that racist number, TBH NGL. Cool. Thanks for the donation, bud. Appreciate it, and love to see it.
So Nighting Star did have a bunch of musketeers coming in as backup, but they weren't there in time. And yeah, Keister, I think as you said, had a really great timing there, and impressively got 2 shipments off of that last fight because of all the extra war chief XP.
Yeah.
So he's feeling really good about this, getting this another 9 maces, and now catching about 5 villagers out, and that's Nighting Star does have a pretty strong economic lead right now. Well, I guess minus the warrior priests, which are a little harder to account for. But even so, he's Kessler's looking to be in a very good position now at this point.
Yeah, after you want to fight that hard, it's just going to kind of snowball for you. You mentioned the XP from winning the fight. Now he's going to get XP from killing those vills, and especially this manor kill XP is going to be a lot. I'm going to keep my screen on here to see how much he actually chops from it. Yeah, 243. So he's stacking 2 shipments right now. I don't even know if he can send anything. 600 coin, I guess, is his last, and 6 Puma are his last available H2 shipments.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 600 coin just back to back, possibly.
Yeah.
Given how you got another shipment after this, it sounds perfectly good. And yeah, you could probably just age up. Nighting Star, meanwhile, is kind of in no position to be aging. He's got a bunch of musketeers. He's got a lot. Well, he's got a few hussars. He's got about 10 hussars around the map, but they're not really finding any villagers. There are a couple of villagers up here on the the northeast side that
Yeah.
have kind of escaped a lot of Lighting Stars roaming hussars. But meanwhile, most of the villagers are still in base right now for Kaister.
Yeah, this is super nice for him, and just gonna ship 3 resources. Pretty good idea. I think compositionally, British need to mix in longbows in this matchup because Mace Sultans are so efficient against heavy infantry units like the Musketeer. And even though these Musketeers have 2 cards on them, they just still don't trade all that well with these Mace Sultans. And you need some unit to also kind of whittle away this Puma mass so that your Hussars can actually be effective. So I think Knighting Star could have benefited from that, but I also get the appeal of just going Muscuss and just slapping 4 cards on them and just kind of Z-moving with a superior eco, but in this game I don't know if it's going to work out. And yeah, here comes the big Z move from Kaiser. A lot of Coyotes coming in here. These do have Coyote combat. The Pumas there are enough Pumas alive to, I think, deter this Huss mass, but the Huss getting relatively good positioning, but no, these Pumas are such high DPS units. And this looks like an... Go ahead.
The tree positioning actually favored Knighting Star a little bit. A lot of these Aztec units kind of do bump around and have to get good pathing. But yeah, there actually were enough reinforcing Pumas that I think Kaiser's going to be able to take this one. There is still a good amount of muskets left, and so this fight isn't a complete disaster for Knighting Star like the last one was. But it is still going to be a Kaister win. There's still a lot of maces. The Hussars got a good positioning, but there are just enough Pumas still left over to take that. Yeah, I'm not going to say that fight was a disaster though for Knighting Star. It was maybe it was defeat, but the scores look still pretty even. Kaister, well, he can still send 600 coin another 2 times, but at least he's not aging up. So
yeah,
Star, it wasn't great, but he got a couple of villagers out of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that fight went as well as it could have for Knighting Star, but each time Brit just trades kind of even or relatively even, they're chewing through resources out on the map. So we have villagers gathering on Kaiser's side of the map just trying to get access to hunt. We have Kaiser throwing down a war hut to control this hunt, and pretty soon Knighting Star is just going to be out of resources altogether, and he's going to be in trouble when that happens. And still a pretty good mass here from Kaiser, but he is like running out of steam. He's ran through his shipment spam. He doesn't really have any more options to boom in H2. He's just producing villagers 1 at a time. Meanwhile, Knighting Star still has like 6 more manners he can throw down. So it's,
okay.
Yeah, it's just Kaiser hasn't taken home the bread yet, I guess is what I'm gonna say.
No, I was a little afraid, and actually it still might be happening, is that Knighting Star's got all of these unprotected villagers over here on the left side of the map, and Kaister has been kind of eyeing that area. Now picked up a bunch. We'll see if he pushes back down this way. And okay, Knighting Star is responding with an outpost, but I don't think it's going to be in time. And there's a lot of units that Knighting Star's going to have to pull away. Going to lose a lot of villagers as well, and his army is just not in position right now.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal. Really brutal walking time. Gonna lose some more manners here. That outpost, it looks like is getting up, which kind of surprises me. But I don't know once it gets up what it's really going to do, because there aren't really any villagers around here anyways.
Yeah, I mean this for Knighting Star, this looked like it might have been a GG raid coming in that Kaiser was going to get on him, and just the fact that didn't happen is good for Knighting Star right now. The fact that he's not trying to counter Kaister's army by staying in the same position and protecting his villagers, but rather going for Kaister's villagers. And actually, there's a lot of villagers in this war hut, and he's going to pick up 6 or 6 or 7 or something like that. And that's the eco lead does go pretty heavily to Knighting Star right now, outside of these warrior priests. The issue though is that there are so few hunts remaining on the map that we're looking at a mill transition, not too far in the future. That's where it's going to be really tough to maintain, to make that eco lead actually pay off.
Yeah, but it could potentially be a mill transition for both players here. I mean, I think we're going to see this game definitely center around these last two lines on the north side and the south side. And I mean, to be honest, like Nighting Star is relatively equal on military pop, a little bit below, but his units are more upgraded, I guess you could say. However, I don't really know if that's quite the case when Kaister attack dances here on the fire pit. But I mean, things are starting to maybe swing in favor of Nighting Star. He's gaining a small score lead, right? When he traded villagers with Kaister, that was a much larger percentage of Kaister's economy than it was for Nighting Star. So I think this next fight could decide the game because that'll decide who can challenge these Huts. Oh, and Kaiser's getting so out of position. Oh, and the Huts are getting free kills on these Mace Holtons. This could just be a GG catch.
Yeah, very, very good for Nighting Star. I was actually surprised that he was going to go back. I expected him to go down towards these villagers in the south, but instead getting a really great fight. Caught a lot of villagers, even shipping the 6
Yeah,
that's actually going to help.
That's so nice because it distracted all these coyotes from the defense of these Mace Sultans, and now the musketeers are just going to Zed move in here, and these Pumas, there aren't a whole lot of them. Musketeers are going to do really, really solid damage to them. And I actually think Nighting Star is going to take this fight and actually the game after this. Yeah, 4 more Huts coming in to reinforce.
Wow, really? Yeah. Wow. That, I mean, a lot of that does come down to the fact that Keister's Mason Haltons were pathing the north side around the spawn, and all of his other units were pathing around the south side. That definitely contributes to a lot of the fact that this fight went this way. But that said, there were a lot of musketeers. Nighting Star did have, I think, a small military lead at that point, or he had at least a score lead. And so, even without that big throw of maces, this fight still may have gone pretty well for Nighting Star. I'm thinking. The musketeers at this point do have so many upgrades that they actually do quite well.
Yeah,
and you can just move them in and. Yeah, so well played by Nighting Star during the course of that game. I think, game one looked really dicey in terms of how this series is going to go, but Nighting Star brings it back to 1-1.
Yeah, brings it back in a really nice game with a nice comeback. If you look at military population, he just gets kind of clapped that first fight at 10 minutes. Roughly equal populations, but he loses 3 times more units. And lost the next fight too, but like we said, went as well as it could have for him, and then but hung on with that superior British eco, kind of bought some time, and eventually remassed and took a favorable trade at last and won the game with it.
Yeah. So now next map it does go to Keister. He is picking Hudson Bay. And then Nighting Star is going to be the player to do the pick. The meme, I guess, expectation is that Keister is going to go 3-0 with native civs and then get reverse swept 3-4 when he can't use them anymore. As it is, it's starting to look a little bit more even than that. He lost with Aztecs, which in some senses is okay because it means he can still use Aztecs. And I know Nighting Star is one of his best civs is British. He loses access to that, but he does still have Japan. Probably doesn't want to quick in with Japan until Aztecs has been taken away from Keister.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll also see. Hudson Bay is actually let me check which version of Hudson Bay, because I know that is going to matter.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Let's see. Let's check out winter. Okay. Okay, and then I don't think Nighting Star has made his pick yet, but we'll see what he does.
Yeah, wait, Nighting Star selects his civilization first, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to grab a drink of water real quick. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Knighting Star coming in Ottomans, which is it is one of the civs. It's also one of the most infamous civs in the game, I suppose. But it's infamous because it's strong.
Auto, yes, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly, I don't know how this matchup goes. Auto versus if Kaiser chooses to stay on Aztec, I don't know how it goes.
Yeah. Looking at it, I do see a lot of fast industrial cards in Knighting Star's decks. Aztecs are one of the civs that you can go fast industrial against as Ottomans. As long as you don't get clapped just from what you realize. But
yeah, that'd be cool.
I see. He's got one deck that has got 6 Fahi and Team 4 Fahi. That might actually be a team deck, but he's got one that's got 6 Fahi in it, and 2 Bombards, etc.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one.
Yeah, he's got just 2 water decks. Both of them are like kind of partial water rather than full water. I don't even know if he'd want to contest water against Sue, which Kaister's not picking.
Oh wait, Sue is like kind of generally considered a counter to Auto. So
I found that like, so I'm wondering what's changed from EPL, because I remember in EPL this was actually a really, really interesting matchup. And it was a bit map dependent, but Ottomans kind of, Mandarin Duck Squad in particular kind of jammed a bunch of Ottomans doing this Avis Cavalry Archer composition. Or on Iowa, they would go super fast Jans.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I was actually practicing a little bit to play against Kaister. Didn't end up being used, but.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I kind of forgot about EPO because it seems like, this Apis Cavalry Archer kind of TC boom composition was this sort of new way to play Ottomans versus Sioux, because I guess finally people stopped playing it like such a bot civ, which is just to make Jans, ship Jans, and then like ship 2 Falcons. And then Sue just kind of makes rifle riders and axe riders and just kind of craps on that composition. But, I don't know. I feel like we also never really saw Sue being played to counter that specific Apis Cavalry Archer play style. And they still went for like bot rifle riders. And neither player was really scouting the other. So, I don't know, I guess.
I do think that in this matchup the sort of the standard bot Ottomans play it is very ineffective, right? The army is so slow, Sue just runs you around and then can eventually clear fight and win off that. And then Avis Cavalry Archer plays much more dynamically, and the mobility is pretty key there. But yeah, I don't know. I played a 50-minute game against Lemmings in this matchup. I was the Ottomans. He ended up winning, but I think it actually makes for it can be actually a pretty interesting matchup when it's Apis Cavalry Archer against Sioux things. Their Lemmings did like a kind of Wakina Act Rider combination, I think, or Wakina DR. We'll see if Kash is the same.
That makes sense. I'm hoping for a real nice game here. I want to check Knighting Star's deck, so he has selected it. It does have, it doesn't really look like an FI deck. Well, it's got the 2 factories and the bombards. You kind of want that in every deck. But it also has CM, which you don't see in Ottoman player decks a lot because generally they're doing the ones rushing and not being rushed.
Yeah.
But it's sort of a jack of all trades deck that is it's kind of a feature of the Ottomans is that your decks are tailored to multiple styles of play. So he could stay H2 with Jan Abis Huss. He's got plenty of cards in H3 to play that style. So interested to see what he's got up his sleeve. Meanwhile, Kaister is known for his Sioux play. I think this would be his main civ, his best civ.
Right.
And it's scary facing it, I'll tell you that.
Nice pickup for Kaister getting this 110 wood treasure and just barely not losing one of those polar bears.
Hmm.
Currently has a team of 2 polar bears going on with him now. And again, picking up this 110 wood treasure, which we'll see what it goes down towards. If it goes down towards a trading post, or if he's just gonna make more TPs out of it. I'm fond of both of those options. Nighting Star, meanwhile, did put down a trading post at the bottom tip here, and we'll have to see if he goes for more trading posts at any point. It's still unclear, what he'll do if he's going to go for a colonial play, whether it's going to be a fast fortress. That's one of the things with Ottoman is that you don't really get to know which of those they're going to do until they've pretty much already done it.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes them so hard to play against. We do see actually a villager going forward, so I'm suspecting that this is going to be some sort of colonial Ottoman play.
I think so, and Ottomans generally try to play around the trading route and get that stagecoach because their ecos is pretty just terrible without it. So I think that's an option. It looks like Knighting Stars. Well, I thought he was going to reposition here around this top TP. He's not chopping any wood in transition, and he's actually gathering the full 300 coins. So I think we're going to see an FF. But I think he's going to be aging with 400 wood and not the tower plus 200 coin politician. And perhaps he's just going to slam down a TP or two here with that age up wood.
He's got the quartermaster in queue right now. He'll be aged up pretty soon. So that villager that was going forward, that I thought was making some sort of barracks, just actually hurting. He may have even pulled it back a little bit. So I think we're seeing. Probably a fast fortress, and we'll see if he makes the trading posts out of that extra 400 wood. I am fond of going up to colonial with 400 wood as Ottomans, and even if I'm going for a fast fortress, partially just because it's 400 wood is better than 200 coin, partially because it can be really really annoying as whoever's playing against Ottomans to see the 400 wood come down, expect the Russians to just make it. That villager's going forward again.
Yeah, we went forward again, and Kaiser's trying to gatekeep this TP from Knighting Star too. But yeah, nicely done using the crack shot on the full HP polar bear, and should just attack these guys. They're 3 HP and 54 HP. Attacking the wrong one there. Okay, there we go. Got it sorted out. So his hero is going to stay alive, and this hero doesn't really do much damage to European heroes. It's what, 5 to swing. 4 damage, so he could lay down another training post if he wants to, but what is he going to use his wood for? I'm looking at this forward villager. He's bringing it back now. He's tasked it all the way back to the TC. Is he trying to go for mind games? I don't know.
This villager has been fascinating. I saw him go forward to the trading post, then just pull back, and now forward, and now back again. I thought, oh, okay, maybe he's pulling it back because he knows that at this point, Actriders would be out on the map, but nope, he decides to stay out anyway.
It's so interesting. Yeah, it's so interesting because it seemed like he intentionally maneuvered that villager around the polar bears at the trading post line so as not to get line of sight. And I'm like, okay, that's clever. And then he immediately shoots this herd in the fog of war, which I'm like, well, okay, that's just going to alert Kaiser that there's a villager there now. And then he pulls it back here. So I want to say that's kind of like intentional from him, but Kaiser eventually did find that villager was pulled back, and he's adding some war clubs here, going to siege this TP.
I mean, yeah, it seems like it might have been like so many levels of Galaxy Brain above what I was able to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it seemed to work, whatever it was. And I think, we are seeing, okay, Knighting Star did hit H3, he's made a stable. A stable is an interesting first choice, stable and a mosque. It's still really hard to say what he's doing. I mean, normally Ottomans would chip a second card in H2 as well. Usually 700 wood would be the follow-up after 700 coin, but he saved that shipment. And so, it's going to be interesting to see. We do see cavalry archers in queue right now. And yeah, I suspect that we'll see an artillery foundry as follow-up to that. But so far, Knighting Star has been playing, a lot of different things. And okay, 1K wood is his first card, so just saving, even on top of that 700 wood. So my best guess now is that it's going to be, the 3 TC Abyss Cavalry Archer style. style of play.
Yeah,
I just arrived at it from a different angle than I'd normally expect.
a definitely different angle. I think he's got to do something about his economy because he doesn't have a market, which is not unusual for Ottomans because they have like 12 villagers, but he doesn't have any trading posts either. He's laying down his first town center, but a lot of times Ottomans make up for their lack of villagers by using experience as like a fourth resource to fuel out crates and stuff like that to supplement their economy. But because he didn't make any units in H2 to defend that trading post, I don't know, this just feels super slow, and I think that this TC might be a little bit too aggressive for this slower play style. He does get another batch of 5 cavalry archers out now, so that's 7. But, he shipped 5, okay. I think he's going to need to ship here like 1,000 coin or something if he wants to. I think he's just going to go like pure cavalry archer for a while.
Yeah, he made another 5 and shipped 5, and as you were saying, this TC is very aggressively placed because it is in danger of having basically this happen.
Oh no!
It's the explorer is gonna die. Yeah, and so that's gonna be rough. You could probably just buy it back, and he's gonna be slowed down absolutely. I think it had a potential to be kind of a disaster, and because Kaister was a little slow to actually take down this town center, it's not going to be a complete disaster. I expect to buy back. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just wait.
He doesn't have the res. I think he completed a batch of cavalry archers. But these Joaquinas are actually trading decently. Kaiser's shipping 1,000 wood of his own though, so he's not like if for instance he shipped units here. I think that he could really punish his TC. But for the time being, I think Knighting Star is going to get away with it. He's got to wait for this hero to get, I think, 90 HP is the minimum when he wakes up. He's at 80 right now, so I think it'll go up. Maybe, I don't know. But what is Kaister doing with this 1,000 wood? He's built a corral, he's built a fire pit, getting some infrastructure up. His hero's dead, so he can't build any of those juicy 400 wood suit town centers, except for he can. So I forgot native civs can do that with their villagers. So that's going to be nice map positioning for him. There are 4 villagers up here pretty exposed, but I don't think the cavalry archers are going to stumble across those.
Okay, this is an interesting spot because Kaister shipped another 9 Wakina, and that town center is not up.
It's going to get. They're going to get sniped. It's going to get sniped. Yeah. This feels so bad. Oh man.
The issue right now is that Knighting Star, as you said, is going pure cav archer. Doesn't have an artillery foundry yet, and as a result, is in this position where, what can he really do about what's going on right now? He's gonna lose the town center that almost finished.
Gosh.
Barely a refund off that, and now it's feeling like he's in really rough shape. He does have 1,000 coins stacked up. Maybe you could get like a surprise Mamluk timing out of this, but as is,
yeah, and
it's not a
yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have any Spahis in deck, which might actually be a decent choice here. He's going to raid some villagers, which is important because he's down in eco, and he's going to continue to be further down because of Sue's second town center. But he's also in danger of losing his entire mass here to this large Joaquina mass. He's got to be really careful how he goes about this. And this full HP hero is coming out to snare. Rifle Rider's doing more damage. Yeah, this not a great trade. I don't think for that many villagers. Let's just go on over to Units Lost here. Yeah, eight cavalry archers for 2 villagers. That's not a trade the Ottomans want to make because they're down in eco.
Right. Yeah, there is a nice raid definitely, and it was kind of what Knighting Star needed to be pushing Kaister's side of the map rather than getting pushed on his own. It is something that he wants to have happen, but he lost a lot of cavalry archers, and now Kaister can push pretty aggressively, and Knighting just doesn't really have anything that would contest what Kaister's able to do right now. He still, I think, only has a stable. We do have another shipment on the way. I'm gonna guess it's. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Okay, it is the
Mamelukes, yeah.
Mamelukes. I mean, Kaister does have a good number of units available that can. He does only have 2 bow riders, so this might be a timing opportunity, but still is. It still feels a little rough for Nighting Star right now.
Yeah, we'll see. The rifle riders don't do that great versus cav, and Nighting Star getting another nice catch here with his cavalry against the light infantry, trying to keep those cavalry archers out of range from these Joaquinas. Micro's going to be very important here for both players. This looks like this fight could be the best thing that Nighting Star could take so far.
Yeah, actually, I'm inclined to agree. He's lost 1 Mameluke so far, but the others are still doing very nice. 3 more bow riders coming in from the northeast, but I think Nighting Star's gotten a lot of the value out of this so far. Still a good number of Joaquinas left. It looks like he's going to commit to this fight still a little bit further. There is a nice positioning here in these TPs that Kaiser can deal with. And, I think most of the Mamelukes are down, and maybe Nighting Star is going to be wanting to pull back from this point. There's not a lot of cavalry archers left. I'm feeling that it's time to leave this fight. Yeah, he's going to be close.
Yeah, that Suhiro tanked a lot that fight. I think 3 Mamelukes were fighting it simultaneously. Meanwhile, boosted by these 3 or 4 TPs, I think that overall fight went in favor of Kaister, and Nighting Star just going to call it.
Makes sense. I think a lot of it just came down to that town center.
Yeah.
that was very, very aggressively placed, and perhaps too aggressively placed. I think that if you get that 3 TC boom off with Ottomans, it feels great. You never have to pay for it. You're just getting villagers all over the place. You get to 99 super fast. But in this case, the town center didn't go up, and then from there, Nighting Star was just on the back foot the entire time. Had a good timing with the Mamelukes, but it wasn't the cleanup that he kind of needed to win that game.
Yeah, that last fight would have been a little bit more interesting if Ottoman had maybe 8 more bow riders or cavalry archers that he had lost.
Or 5 Avis guns.
Yeah, or Avis guns, pretty good unit versus that composition. All right, so Kaister takes game number 3. He's up 2-1. It's best of 7 here, so strap in, folks. We've still got lots more games to come.
Are we in the? You're in the wrong spot. Right.
Oh, I was not. Yeah, I didn't even pay attention.
All right, so Nighting Star gets to pick the next map. So far, it's been they've traded games, so Kaister wins, Nighting Star wins, now Kaister won again. Nighting Star gets to pick the map, and so this might be another one where he's able to pull off that W. And Kaister, important is that at this point in the series, he is out of Sioux, he is out of Iroquois. That's my understanding is that, and you could correct me on this, that Aztecs is his worst of the 3 native civs. I'm not sure if that's actually true.
Yeah, I think that's true. I'm pretty sure. And then I think he also plays like Dutch. Would be his main European civ. And like you said, Dutch, France, they're all kind of interchangeable mechanics with Iroquois.
Yeah.
Oh, DACA. Yeah. This is what I want to see.
All right. Nice. Yeah, this could be another Ottoman game.
I am
It'll be so exciting.
I'm excited for this also because Kaister sent me a PM before the series started that said this DACA game's gonna be for you or something. Like, I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but he's selecting Dutch. Like, he's got a plan, surely.
Yeah.
And he's got a deck called DACA. Oh boy.
Okay. Let me take a look at this one.
Okay. I see like I Spy rendering plant, fish market, schooners, 3 Floyds, a fort. Yes.
What is it? Heavy fortifications. Okay. Let's see. Just read yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, the Fort Wagon. All right. Yep. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
This could be one of those 60-minute games.
Yeah,
And we'll just, yeah. I guess Nighting Star's lost a pick, so um, there's that.
true. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
I will ungreen up. Yeah, this kind of reminds me. So Dutch water is something I have like a spiritual connection with because probably like a couple years ago, actually a while ago, I played Sheckler. Back before Sheckler discovered attack move and got pretty good. So he it was just like 2018 Sheckler, and we played a Dutch mirror where I didn't. It was on Malaysia and I didn't make a single bank, so I just like fish boomed, and it was like a 45-minute long game. But pulled out the dub eventually. But I do admire Dutch water now, because it's not really, you get so much more out of banks for your buck.
Yeah, I see.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm not too familiar with the Dutch water. They're not usually a civ that I associate with the water, which is interesting for a civ that literally built like their entire country on underwater.
I guess that's not really. I don't know if you can harvest their dikes and stuff though too much. I don't know.
I think historically the Dutch Navy was considered quite powerful.
That's true.
In Age of Empires 3, it's not really the thing. But Nighting Star clicked in with Portuguese, which is one of the very very famous water civs in this game. I think judging from some of the games Kaister played earlier in this tournament, I think he's pretty comfortable on the water. It seems like it's a lot of players when they're faced against water, it's really out of their element because it's not a style that a lot of players play against. But Kaister seemed like he was pretty comfortable on it. And he does have a DACA deck, and it looks like he's already picked it. I'm excited to see what comes out of this one.
Yeah, Kaiser I feel like is just a pretty versatile player, and I say this mostly because playing 3v3s with him on Ari, where we're may or may not be smurfing, and and he just does he can do trade monopoly kind of town dance play style pretty well, which you may or may not be familiar with, and I don't know. I think it's a mark of like a good and versatile player if they can make these sort of inferior strategies work out actually really really well. And he continues to kind of do that over and over again. So excited to see what he has in store.
Ceylon with the trade monopoly.
Yeah.
So I'm unfortunately very familiar with that approach.
Yeah, I mean that strategy is really well executed if it takes down the player with the second best micro in all of AoE3. So.
But anyway, Nighting Star, interesting thing to note actually with him is that he did not pick a water deck. There's not a single one on this deck, but it is very Age 4 heavy. So now I think could be maybe ATP. That would be pretty cool. Could be. I think it'll be some sort of fast fortress, possibly into industrial. But I think almost certainly he's not going to be trying to contest the water.
Yeah, maybe he is like not so much of a water player. I know when he and Luk Tom played on Indonesia, he didn't really go for any sort of water style at all. But he was Russia versus Aztec. But at the same time, I'm hesitant. I don't know why you'd pick DACA if you don't have a deck without warships, because as we definitely saw in the EPL, like controlling this center pawn can be so pivotal throughout the game. And ATP is nice; you can get 4 TP Stagecoach, and that's really good. But these two central TPs are within range of a warship, and I don't think ATP trading posts can shoot back at ships, or
they can. as far as I can tell. Unless the ship is like right up next to it.
Yeah, so the warships will be able to outrange those TPs.
Well, it is notable that Kaister doesn't have an Age 2 ship guard in his deck. I'm pretty sure that should get like something like that.
I get 2 caravels. Oh wait.
Okay. Or 2 flights.
2. Wait. I don't actually know. No.
Yeah.
Crud. Yeah. Weird.
So at least for Netting Star, that's not a concern yet. I know that there are a lot of memes in EPL where people would start building the trading posts like what Netting Star is doing right now, and then get 2 Veld, and then there'd be a huge swing. That's not going to happen this game. So Netting Star is going to be able to get that entire trading post line down. But after that, yeah, as you say, Kaiser's going to be able to put boats in the middle, control these 2 trading posts, and it is going to it is definitely better to have the water in this map than the trading post line. Or Concept are actually going over to help out one of these trading posts. It actually might be better, as we were talking about down here, if possible, to place it, just to actually have control over the central pond.
Yeah.
This, as is, not a terrible placement. Otherwise, though, it does form kind of a nice wall. Gets a lot of line of sight. It probably is able to see like the far shallow on the right side over there. So I'm not gonna fault Netting Star too much for this one.
Yeah, I kind of like it. It actually gives them pretty nice control over like this berry island maybe later in the game. Nighting Star does have all 4 TPs, and actually speaking of berries, if you look in his deck, he does have Spice Trade, which is 20% upgrade to both hunts and berry gathering. So combined with the 40% upgrade from the Bhakti Temple in the north of the map, Portuguese, which require a lot of food to fuel their TC booms, that could be a very nice late game option for him instead of investing in mills and the costly upgrades. That said, I would like to see one of the players wall this middle choke.
Yep.
I get like a little tilted when no one does that, because I think it's so good for such a little investment, but it's okay.
So what is interesting is that we've been talking about Netting Star for a while, but Kaister meanwhile is doing something interesting as well. He's got 2 barracks already, and has made 4 pikemen to start, another 4 in queue. I'm wondering what this is going to turn into. If he's gonna go actually just meme right click the TC, he's gonna try to meme right click the other TC.
I don't know.
He's got some possibilities here, but yeah, it's this is already a pretty atypical touch build.
Yeah,
he's only got 1 pick. And
he has 10 pikes in queue.
Yeah.
What in the world? And he's trying to be active with this explorer and scout. I wasn't paying attention though if he scouted these 2 barracks from Nighting Star or not though.
I don't believe he knows about these 2 barracks. That said, okay, he does have 5 crossbowmen made. He's got another 1 in queue. So there's a defense here. I don't think 16 pikes is going to be able to, or maybe just 14 pikes is going to be able to take down this 10 yet.
Yeah.
No, and the 8 crossbowmen shipment is going to knock this back, I think. But,
oh no! They get caught. They walked forward. I don't know if that was a misclick or not, but taking pretty deadly hand-to-hand combat here. The reinforcing 5 crossbows coming in from the north of the map, but a villager's trying to tank here. This is as good as
he needs that 150 coin, and now he's got it, and now he's trying to get the Minutemen.
Yeah.
I think this is still fine for Netting Star, though.
I think it's... Let's look at units lost. I think that's going to tell us. So, about evens. 7 pikes lost for Kaister and 8 crossbows for Nighting Star. So, pretty even trade, but now he did force Minutemen. And Kaiser's going to start adding skirmishers of his own here. And Nighting Star, because he went for 2 barracks, won't really have units out to contest these like he won't have any hussars out for a little bit, and so these skirmishers are going to be pretty valuable.
That said, Nighting Star, he didn't need to necessarily win there. He just needed to not lose.
Yeah.
Because he does have a 4 trading post line. Kaister hasn't taken the 1. He's getting a 2nd bank up now, and so his economy is going to be maybe I'm going to guess like 8 villagers behind Nighting Star, who has Stagecoach at this point. So Nighting Star, he does have time on his side. He just needs to be able to get enough units together to be able to hold the pressure that's coming into his.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, aggroing the tiger or the lion there. But actually, we'll give 45 food if he wants to pick it up. But is too pressured to do so. And this pike rush by Kaister kind of cheesy, but now he's got tons of siege to back up his skirmisher mass, and actually kind of being a decent counter to the two racks opening from Nighting Star. Like, there's no more defense here. Like, he can't call Minutemen and he can't ship bows to his TC. He can't ship musks, which he has in deck, but and he does. So 6 musketeers show up at this TC, but Kaiser's getting a lot of utility from his pikemen, sieging down lots of houses. Gonna pop Nighting Star and gonna try to get out of there.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job just getting as much damage in as he can. Unfortunately,
Oh.
aggroing.
Wow,
Players
yep.
have now aggroed, and unfortunately for Kaister, he got the worst end of that one, losing 2 skirmishers to these very angry tigers.
Yeah.
But he's been pretty active with these units. I think at this point, Nighting Star has sort of stabilized here. There's only a couple of skirms left in this composition, whereas Nighting Star has plenty of crossbowmen now. But Kaister, he's got a decent economy. He's getting a stable up. He's getting a 3rd bank up. He's kind of transitioned out of this, and maybe didn't get the kill that he wanted to, but nonetheless, he's not dead by any means. Actually, he might be able to get a good play here on the forward base of Nighting Star.
Yeah, he's got some skirmishers here, going to DPS down these crossbows, but unfortunately lost some skirmishers due to some pathing up there. So, like you said, Nighting Star is actually kind of more than stabilized, and I would say it's definitely in the advantageous position here. We'll see if this SAR switch can catch Nighting Star for a surprise, but Nighting Star has added Hussars of his own. And now Kaiser's really in trouble because the economies, I think, have been equal, if not in favor of Portuguese, with this very efficient 4TP stagecoach line. And there have been no dock slams of Kaister, so he's got to make do with what he's got. I think he's got 3 banks now. Yeah, he's only on a 3-bank economy.
Yeah, looking at the recalc population, it is a 13 villager lead to Kaister, which with the 4 TPs does make it a little bit ahead for Nighting Star, but because Nighting Star has the 2 town centers, this lead is gonna go towards Nighting Star further and further as the game goes on. That's kind of makes that happen. There's a fight going down here. Pikemen are in a good position on the Hussars, but the Hussars are pulling back. I think that Kaister actually does have still the larger military here, but there is a town center. I think Minutemen have already been called, okay, with the reinforcing musketeers, I think that Nighting Star is going to hold again.
Yeah, these skirmishers are going a little haywire. Several of them kind of walking ahead, sieging this ATP trading post. Maybe the unit control is not quite all there, but picking up a few villagers here. Kind of villagers tanking for the SARs though, which actually is I think pretty good for Nighting Star because he's just got a hold here. I think he's stacking a lot of res, can put those into units pretty easily, and this reinforcing batch of SARs is going to force Kaister back. Does he have any?
More than forcing them back is actually going to be getting a cleanup on these skirmishers.
They're 5 in queue for Kaister, so he's going to try to. They're not going to pop soon enough. Yeah, so they're the SARs just now.
Okay, well, I mean, these fights have actually been very swingy based on who's been getting the Hussars.
Yeah.
I think that now it's starting to swing again in Kaister's favor. There's going to be another batch of, is it Musketeers? No, just Hussars in queue right now Pikemen and Crossbowmen out in queue for Nighting Star. I'm getting my colors mixed up. But he needs some Hussars, and Hussars are just getting queued up now. Pikemen going to be popping from the second left barracks at any point, any moment now. And that's going to be an important thing to happen.
Yeah, these are super scrappy, close fights here. The pikemen pop, but most of the crossbows are getting cleaned up before they can, but you're getting pretty good swings on those Hussars anyways. There's not a lot of synergy with Nighting Star's buildings. I mean, his staple is back home. These Hussars have to go a long ways in order to join the fight, and I think it's sort of costing him. Because he's got 6 in queue. If those 6 were popping from a building here, this would be another swingy fight that Nighting Star would win.
As is, I mean, Nighting Star, he does have another 5 pikemen. They're getting picked off gradually, but the Hussars are coming in from the back. This fight still does go in Kaiser's favor, I think, because all these pikemen have died so quickly. But there are some villagers here, and that's not insignificant at this point to just have them fight, joining this fight. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what they're doing.
Nice Vil punching there. Very nice. Just one swing and back to work. Don't want to get too involved there. And a lot of these huts were low HP, so you also have this town center doing damage. I think Nighting Star is going to stabilize. And for reinforcements, Kaiser only has 5 skirms, and 4 huts just popped. So he's backed up. This whole time, Kaiser's been like a little bit better, like he has less resources in bank, and Nighting Star is sort of banking some. So this tells me like once Nighting Star actually is able to spend all of his res, I think Kaiser could be in trouble. And Kaiser is gathering pretty exposed on the map. And
yeah, it is a good raid for Nighting Star, possibly. Actually, with all these Hussars, it might be yeah, Kaiser's gonna have to be pulling back a lot of these villagers. The skirms are not coming up. He has moved onto the water. He's sent schooners and has been doing all that good stuff. But this could be a really good fight for Nighting Star. It's hard to say. The villagers are joining the fight, and that is actually maybe what swings it. Miniman as well. Even so, I think for Nighting Star, I'm not sure if he actually got any villagers down there, but it was a productive engagement for him. Forcing the Minutemen, getting one villager down, keeping them idled for a while. Probably a bunch that are low as well.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Kaiser holds. Now he's supplementing his economy with schooners. He's got those 3 banks down. But yeah, it's tough. Nighting Star is mixing in a second stable, and Kaiser's going to need some sort of form of anti-cap, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Nighting Star doing, I think, the thing that we predicted earlier. He sent Spice Trade, and now is making that trading post on the Bhakti Temple. You can see he's got a lot of villagers in the area now, and so it is going to turn into one of these very situations, which is great for him.
They changed the map so that there are 2 of these trading posts. That's nice. It used to be just 1, I think. So only 1 player can get the berry up.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah. Some of the Hussars going for a raid, they actually got caught out a little bit there. Going to be losing too. But some more Hussars coming in from the back, and actually this fight could go back into Nighting Star's favor. It's hard to say. Okay, they're disengaging it. Definitely though, things are starting to look pretty positive. I would say for Nighting Star. We've been saying that perhaps a lot, but there's some scrappy fights. No, look at those caravels.
Yeah, the caravel's really nice adaptation. And Kaiser doesn't have 2 caravels of his own in his deck. And I don't know, he dropped an LOL. I don't know what that was referring to.
Yeah.
Like did he think he had 2 caravels? Like, is he missing 2 caravels? I don't know. Because it's gonna be brutal. Because he can't really afford to spend 300 wood on a boat right now. And is getting pushed here.
This fight actually is going to go in Kaiser's favor, I think, with these pikemen coming in from the back to reinforce. There are a lot of purple Hussars, actually. This could be another close one. Nighting Star's going to disengage it.
Yeah, that was a good good trade for Kaiser, because also you have all these 0 HP Minutemen, or 1 HP Minutemen, that actually do really good damage. Oh no, and
yeah.
That's a big break for Kaiser. Well, I mean, another caravel coming in, but Nighting Star.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I think you really just want to wait for 2 caravels, and then my understanding is 2 caravels beats a dock, right?
Yeah, without like AT or advanced dock, or yeah.
And so yeah, going one caravel, then 1 caravel is basically loses to the dock, as we've seen. 2 caravels though, that's what makes it. And then from there, I mean, a 10 villager raid is great. Do we have any more caravels in queue? Looks like not yet, and I'd really like to see that. But in the meantime, there is some fighting going on at the top. Nighting Star has mixed in more musketeers into his composition, but it looks like he's not willing to take this fight just yet. He does have a lot of hussars. There's only a few pikes out here for Kaister, and so this could be a good fight. That said, the pathing is going to be favoring Kaister in this case. He's got the range advantage on his side.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to get that TC down, and he's going to be forced to go back. There are more units out here for Nighting Star. Nighting Star is stacking almost 2 shipments, and in one of those, I think he should be sending CN. I think he'd get a lot of value out of that. But I don't know. This is a scrappy one. Like I don't know who's coming out ahead, but it looks like
No, I
Nighting
think
Star.
Nighting Star definitely comes out ahead in this. Yeah, and this actually could be the game here.
Some pikes coming out. The villagers, I think, need to be pulled into the action. Oh, but they're going back. This. It's just dicey. And Kaiser's calling GG.
Wow. Very, very good game. Not the game I think we expected to see, but a good game nonetheless. I can't imagine that Kaister's, Galaxy bring Daka strat has to make 14 pikemen go right pick your, Portuguese down center. I expected he had some more water things going on, but nonetheless, it was an interesting game.
It was
very watch.
That stagecoach being super helpful for Nighting Star. But Kaiser kind of ahead in res for a lot of the game, really. It was a very close game. And I think the decision to add in caravels for Nighting Star is kind of won him the game.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he scouted when Kaister built this dock when he built it, but the timing was really nice because Kaister just barely been on water and he'd ship 2 fishing upgrade cards.
Right.
That has the potential to really snowball.
Yeah, I think as we mentioned, maybe just waiting for the second caravel would have been the better choice there. But nonetheless, I think Nighting Star showed pretty good play here. It was very swingy during a lot of these fights. It always felt like both players were one cav patch away from turning it and basically winning the game, which made for some very nice stuff. But yeah, these trading posts ended up paying off, paying dividends for Nighting Star over time. That's, I think, what ultimately got him the game.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now it's Kaister's turn to select a map.
Yeah, the score is tied 2-2, which is exciting. Not what I expected either. I was expecting, the players seem pretty evenly matched so far. I feel like the Stalker game did it was a longer game where there's just more decisions made over a long period of time, and it seemed like the players were pretty evenly matched compared to say Hudson Bay, where it felt like just one mistake at Nighting Star just cost them the game, and they had to go through the motions to prove that it was costing them the game. But we kind of knew that it had cost them the game.
Yeah. I gotta grab my clothes out of the dryer.
Oh yes, I have a dryer right next to me that I've been. My clothes have been in there for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, might have been in there for a day. So I got to take a minute to do that real quick. So
okay, sounds good. I'll wait for the players to do their thing. It is Nighting Star on the pick. Kaister on the counter pick, but Kaister did get to pick the map. This was map 1. The original map was this. Yes. This was map 1 of the series, where Kaister picked Iroquois into Nighting Star's Japan, and won in very convincing fashion. It was a 12-minute game where Kaister just kind of hit H3, Nighting Star hit H3, but Kaister found a great timing, basically right-clicked in. Nighting Star was caught completely off guard and kind of collapsed from there. In this case, Nighting Star is the first pick. He did pick Japan for game 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he picked Japan again. My only concern there is though that Kaister does have his Aztecs open, and that could be a very strong counter pick. So we'll have to see. Okay, Nighting Star clicking in with, or readying up with French. Interesting. I'm not sure if he's picked that in the tournament so far. I need to check that. And while I'm checking that, I actually need to check if Dutch have access to a 2 Caravel or 2 Floyd card.
Oh yeah, they have access to 2 Caravel and I think 1 Floyd.
Okay.
Definitely 2 Caravel. I looked it up in the middle of last game.
Caravels, 1 Floyd. Okay, so now, so Floyds are galleons. They replaced the galleon for.
Oh, okay.
That's my understanding. Okay. The galleon is that card that I just forget is a card, or it's a unit that I forget is a unit.
Yeah, it's not too popular. It's only like it's really just a mobile raiding unit, or if you have like super drawn out Imperial Age battles, you'll 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 make them just so you can max out your warship pop.
Yeah, I do like the idea of having like this unit. It's kind of like a daimyo, right? It's a barracks and a stable, and so there's. I remember people talking about, oh yeah, you could use it like as a sort of flexible thing if you ship it in age two. And that sounds cool, but I feel like those strategies have never really worked. Maybe ASM could probably pull it off, but nobody else.
Yeah,
Um, in this case, yeah, Keister's sticking with his Dutch, and so we're seeing French versus Dutch, which is a much more normal set of civs than I think what we've seen with all the native civs. The Euro matchups, I was actually not expecting to see a Euro matchup in this series, but that's what we got.
yeah. Here we go. Here we go. So it looks like it's a food start. Wait. Yeah, food. Um, which is still a thing because we're not on the beta, which kind of sucks. But that's okay. And both players just gonna send out their scouts, see what they can find. There's a 40 wood treasure near Keister, but he's going the wrong way. And any other like good resource? Okay, 95 wood I think is the treasure to get on this map. Lots of tier 1 coin treasures. That about sums it up for treasures. Looks like a Nuka. Nighting Star might work on that. I don't know.
I remember in game one we actually took every single treasure on the map.
Wait,
so
really?
Everything, yeah, every treasure on the map was taken, but it wasn't. In the best treasure basically on the map was that 110 coin.
Yeah.
Maybe some. It's probably some winter too. Here, there's not actually that many treasures on the map. There's I mean, there's a decent number, but yeah, it's definitely possible for the players just to clear them all out over the course of the game. Let's see. Looks like Kester's picking up one of them, the 30 coin. And we'll see if he moves up. That 95 wood, I think, is the strongest treasure right now. Nighting Star does see it, but hasn't gone for it yet. He's moving that way.
Yeah,
I think
he's getting ready. Going to position his native scout, I think, in such a way to get a little bit extra LOS, make sure Kaiser isn't too close, and it's going to help DPS it down. Kaiser does see it, and so he is going to W key up there. But, well, we're not playing Apex Legends. I don't... Actually, yeah, he is going to be maybe in time. This could be a contention, and this would be brutal if it goes to Keister. Oh, and it does.
Oh, no.
No, so Nighting Star losing the treasure contention on the best treasure on this map twice now. And
that
that's
was
brutal.
actually really rough because both players were actually pretty delayed in clicking the treasure, but Nighting Star was even more delayed, and that's a little rough to say. Yeah, Kaister getting the nice steal there, and is he gonna get the Explorer too? He might.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He escapes with both the pathing. Kind of saved by the elk almost. He got a little caught up on that, and Nighting Star just noticed and was able to go around the north of that TP. But it's super hard when you get snared if you try to block it with the native scout, because the native scout can get snared as well and can't escape.
Interesting thing to point out already is that Nighting Star is sending out 2 villagers, 2 courier de bois onto the map, but Kaister sees it, and he's pathing in with his boy. But we're definitely this is not going to be one of the semi-FF games so far. Nighting Star's out for blood here.
I like to see it.
If it's going to be like 1 racks, 2 racks, rack stable. I think he's got options here. He is he's gathering a lot of wood. I don't know if he's going to go for TP. Actually, he probably can't even go for a TP at this point because he's going to lose this Explorer. Yeah, that hero kind of sacrificed himself for 40 coin, was it? 50 food. Nighting Star is doing a nice job. Actually, it looks like he's going to get away. He's been meleeing and trying to escape the snare, and it looks like his efforts have paid off because he should be aged up before Keister gets the beat on him again.
So that's well done by him. But I think we are going to see a bow pike rush here. I mean, you don't chop this much wood unless you're doing that, I think.
Right. Yep. Yeah, he's pull tricking his explorer away a little bit, but that explorer is actually still in danger at this point.
Yeah.
That said, it is an APM expenditure for Kaister that Kaister doesn't really have to follow. He just has to run his explorer away, whereas Kaister has to constantly do these shots. But it is pathing into Kaister's base. Stable is going up. Okay. Forward stable. Kaister does see this forward stable.
This is scary. Well, you need to add a barracks because otherwise you're liable to just getting 8 piked, you know?
Right.
So, well, we'll have to see what the first colonial shipment is for Knighting Star. Like it has to be 700 wood and you have to lay down a stable, honestly. But we'll see. I don't know. Kaiser's starting barracks, which I don't know if I like. I feel like, well, actually, Haza explained this on stream today when he was playing Floco, which he was playing this exact matchup, and he says that Dutch should add in a stable if France adds in a stable, and then just like ship 8 pike, and then like destroy the forward stable, or if France starts with the barracks and Dutch starts with a barracks himself. So right now I feel like I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what? You guys can ask Kaza. He's a better player. So Kaiser making 5 pikes. I guess that's good.
Yeah, that's a fully appropriate response, I think, to the forward stable. And has made 2 banks so far. Little macro for actually perhaps a little mismacro at this point. We'll say. Yep. 5 hunters coming in, but gonna get chased away by those pikes.
Yeah, that's a good swing there. Yeah. Okay.
We'll see what Nahanni's next card is. Ooh.
So this was funny. Do you remember there was a 40 wood treasure here? Kaister crack shot that guardian, but he was a bit away, and then this hero just like sneaked in and got it, and now he's gonna die to the envoy.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's great.
There was actually a chance for Knighting to just run away there. Kaister initially ran away with his envoy from the hero, and then was like, wait, I actually win that.
Yeah.
Just go.
So yeah, this stable just gets piked, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, Dutch, you do kind of force Dutch to send 8 pikes, but Dutch wants to send 8 pikes anyways. They're just cutting a little bit of eco from, because of it. But I think it's fine because it nullified so much of France's initiative. It killed 200 wood, all this walking time from these CDBs. I think Kaiser's in a pretty good spot. And I think Knighting Star is just going to try to age up after this. He's stacking a lot of resources, including wood, and he doesn't have his hero alive to build a trading post, which he'd want to. So he's forced to use the CDB to do it now, which is another massive waste of villager seconds, and it's in this line of sight of the envoy. So also liable to just getting right-clicked, maybe.
Yeah, that's where I think that a lot of this has been an issue for Knighting Star, is that early age 1 explorer problems have kind of become a huge problem for him now. He's not going to have a trading post as he's going to try to age, and that's going to put his shipment progression down way further than he'd probably like to. Yeah, he's actually having to pull away this villager, and that trading post is basically just not going to go up at this point. Going to go for some pressure back down in Kaister's base, but yeah, still, I think he's just gathering to age. And then he'll have a shipment in age 3, which is great. But again, having a trading post at this point in the game I'd feel a lot more comfortable about how things were going for him if he had one of these. Even if he just lost it now, if he had it for 4 minutes by this point, it would be a lot nicer.
Yeah, definitely. Kaiser is only on 2 banks, so he's just now got the wood to build 3rd if he wants to. But he is going to be applying pressure. And this is a nice move. I think he really recognizes that Knighting Star is trying to age. He hasn't seen any more units other than the Huss that he just saw, and he gets line of sight of the stable, but he's not really afraid because he's got more pikes. So he's just going to raise a couple houses, But Nighting Star's going to try to go for a trap here, but there's so many pike. I don't think he can really snare with these Hussars cost effectively. He's going to try, but yeah. I think Kaiser will be able to get away with most of these units.
Some nice micro out of Nighting Star, nonetheless.
Yeah.
He's going to get a few of these pikes, but I think, yeah, now that they're in melee mode, he's going to want to actually pull back carefully with these Hussars. Is he just going for it? That's really dangerous. I think he actually does get it. It's going to be really close.
Yeah, that's just, that's not cost effective. And he is an H3, but Kaiser's following up right behind him. Kaiser does have 3 banks, which does put him ahead in the eco, laying down a stable now. So yeah, Kaiser's another really nice spot. Even continuing to apply pressure and forced to have these CDBs come out. He's trying to pick off the pikes because he has a Hussar in queue. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was a fan of that aggressive CDB usage, just trying to snipe down some of those pikes. But yeah, Kaister is following up the H3. He's laying down his own stable. Nighting Star is shipping 1,000 wood as his first card, which is... I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I'm just having flashbacks to I think game 3 where I tried to put down a forward TC and it just went disastrously for him.
Yeah.
But he is reviving his explorer, so
yeah,
I think we're getting. Yep, and there it goes.
There it goes. No, I don't know if this is really the move against Dutch. Again, I mean, I should really revisit the VOD of Hazza talking to Floco about this matchup on Floco's channel. Because he also specifically mentioned like he doesn't think France should ever send 1,000 wood in this matchup just because you get out ecoed and Dutch gets better units later on in H3. So Hazza's a big fan of just like early aggression, Skirm, Goon, and like 2 Falcons and trade off the Falcons and kind of add some Cuirassiers. You know, a play style like that, not really this early TC.
I see, yeah, that makes sense. Kaiser getting a nice pickup on 2 villagers there, and is pushing into the base. Actually, he sees another 6, and actually this could be a disaster for him. Pulling them away, but there's not a lot of units out here for him. He's only got a few goons, and there's still enough pikemen to be a threat here. I think he'll save the villagers, but yeah, Kaister I think is really dictating the pace of this game right now. That 10 toucher is going to go up, which is different from last time. But
yeah, that's at least nice. Nighting Star is definitely on the back foot here, though. He's got to make enough units to survive this early aggression from Dutch, and also make enough CDBs from 2 town centers to kind of make up this economic gap. And the 4 Hussars from 5 Hussars now in EP from Kaister was actually a really clutch shipment because it allowed, and it just kind of counters the 1,000 wood shipment from Nighting Star.
Yeah, 2 Falconets is Nighting Star's next shipment. He shipped it to his forward town center. The problem is that he just doesn't have anything that defends these Falcons. He's only got 4 dragoons, and he needs. If he had 9 dragoons, okay, I could see it. But as is, it's still going to be really tough. And Kaister actually sees these Falconets now. I'm not sure if this camera's over onto it.
Yeah.
But there is a good chance. Oh, actually, getting all those Hussars picked off is a chance for Nighting Star to maybe make something happen here.
Yeah,
and get a nice shot.
Yeah, they like to shoot right through the cliffs and just defy all physics, which is fine. But get a pretty good volley there. Units in queue, there's not a Cuirassier in queue. Like if a Cuirassier popped here, I think it would just clean up everything because these few pikes would just get DPS by the cannons. But it is a dragoon, so. Nonetheless, though, I think Nighting Star's taking a good trade here.
Yeah, it's looking nice for him. Some of one of the Reuters at least on the Falconet, but I think actually, yeah, these Falconets are getting nice volleys on the skirmishers, and the Explorer with the snare was also very strong. I think the Falconets will finally get cleaned up, just barely now, with these Reuters.
Yeah,
They've definitely paid off, and I think that's exactly the sort of fight that Nighting Star needed to stay in this game.
That was huge. I mean, they more than paid off. They must have killed 14, 15 skirmishers, and for the first time in this game, it feels like Nighting Star is ahead military pop, and that's exactly what he needed. And but the issue is the 38 to 52, economic pop, and he does have that second town center. He can try to make that up, but it's gonna be really tough for him when he's gathering out on the map. And these Reuters, I don't know if their attention has been drawn back home because of this Dragoon raid. So nice from Nighting Star to kind of buy himself some time, but is in a hole to crawl out of, to be sure.
I'm not gonna lie, that just CDB is not in the middle of the map against that patch of Reuters. I'd actually favor the CDBs on that one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Nighting Star, he has a pathway to victory here, right? He has the 2 10 centers, and you could say, okay, right, over time, he will make up that gap economically. He just has to not die.
Yeah.
This is a situation where, the skirmishers did that he just shipped. Losing 3 of them is pretty rough. 8 skirmishers probably one-shots to Reuter, 5 skirmishers I don't believe does, and so as a result, there is a big difference between those 2 numbers of skirmishers.
Yeah.
He is behind militarily again, but he does still have, he's got options available to him. If he can hold this position, and he does have a good number of CDBs here, where I could see it actually being possible for him to hold here. This could be nice. He'll be losing a couple of Dragoons there.
Yeah, a lot of these CDBs are pretty low HP too in this town center. So it's going to be kind of tough to hold with them. They also don't have Great Coat, which I think could be a good investment here at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Great Coat is one of the things that is missing from Nighting Star's text.
Yeah. Dutch is just kind of firing on all cylinders here. He did ship 1,000 wood. He's got 4 banks now. He's got his 5 banks now. He's got his 2 barracks and his stable. He's pumping out 15 units at a time. So he can Dutch firing on all cylinders is pretty scary.
Yeah. One thing that is going well for Nighting Star though is that he did kind of running Kaister around here has forced Kaister to pull all these villagers up in the north side of the map away.
Yeah.
Not getting the big raid that Nighting Star was probably hoping for, but still, this is a lot of idle time. Still, okay, yeah. Kaister's smart enough to know, okay, yeah, you can run around with all these Dragoons if you want, but I'm just going to right-click your TC if you do that.
Yeah.
And so I think this trade is still going in Kaister's favor.
I think Nighting Star does have 12 Swiss Pikes in his deck, so it would be pretty...
That'd be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, there's the potential for a really nice ace pop. Nighting Star doesn't have the res for it, but like if he was able to keep this TC alive, and I don't know. I'm trying to go through simulations where Nighting Star wins. Ships 3 cures, tries to get that right on top of the Reuters, going to get some DPS down before Kaiser notices, but he's still pretty quick to respond. And that shipment's deleted.
Yeah, I think in this case, this could have been a 12 Swiss Pike shipment. Just looking at Nighting Star's resources, I think he was floating a lot of food there.
Yeah.
So I think it was plausible for that to be 12 Swiss Pikes. The macro might not have quite worked out, but I think if 12 Swiss Pikes popped out of that town center, that would have been a very different fight. And that would have been remarkable to behold. As is, it does feel like Nighting Star. He does have a 5-core spring coming in. Okay, this could be.
12 Swiss Pikes with like a batch of 5 cures would have. Well, he wouldn't have been able to get 5 out, but it would have been an interesting fight. Still, I mean, the position these cures are. It's pretty good on top of these skirms, but there's just more units out here for Kaister. And infantry combat skirms, I think, is going to seal the deal. As you said so well before, I think players are just kind of going through the motions here. And yeah, there's the GG call from Nighting Star. So Kaister taking a 1-game advantage here, 3-2, and that puts him on match point in this best of 7 series.
Yeah, nice play out of Kaister. I think. As you mentioned, he was firing all cylinders. There wasn't really a point where he was making any errors. He was constantly punishing Nighting Star for the decisions that Nighting Star was making. Nighting Star, meanwhile, I do think that this game would have gone a lot better for him if he hadn't lost that treasure at age 1.
Yeah.
Like not just the fact that he lost the treasure, but the fact that after he lost the treasure, he got his explorer just you know, killed basically.
Yeah.
Not having that trading post for the entire game is something that French definitely doesn't want to have happen. And things kind of to an extent snowball from there. I think this could have been a very, very different game if that there's something was slightly different there.
Definitely. So well played to Kaister. He's on top of Age 1 today. And that is his win with a non-native Civ. He has won with Eero, he's won with Sioux, but he did lose with Aztec. So we'll see if he tries to return to Aztec or wants to bust out another European Civ.
Yeah, it looks like Nighting Star has picked Bering Strait, and this is a good Japan map. But it's also a good Aztec map, so I feel like Kaister could pre-pick Aztecs here. It is his pick, of course, so he would have to first pick it. But it wouldn't be a bad pick if he just went with it. It would shut down Japan, which when I say it's a good Japan map, it does have a short rush distance, but the fact that there's only 2 trading posts, there's nice walling places, opportunities.
Yeah.
So it is a pretty good Japan. But yeah, again, I think a pre-pick Aztecs here would be nice. We'll see if that's what Kaister goes for, or if he's got something else in mind.
Yeah, Aztec would be good, and I don't really know what civs out of Nighting Star's pool he can really play versus like what would he choose to counter Aztec here? I mean, I've seen him play Russia, but he did lose that matchup to Tom. Could pull out France again, I guess, but I think Aztec is a pretty solid pick here from Kaister if he chooses that.
Let's see. Nighting Star is used up as British and as Portuguese. I don't think he's even a Portuguese player. It seemed like more of an opportunistic pick there. He does still have his Japan, which I know he plays. The Russians, which I know he plays. I think he also maybe plays one of the native civs. It might be Aztecs.
Yeah, he's got an Aztec game. He won an Aztec game versus Tom.
Right.
Well, and we saw him pull it out. Oh, wait, no, that was Kaister. I'm getting my players confused, but he does play Aztec.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. It is Kaister to pick. Looks like the players are taking a bit of time. Oh, okay. Actually, Kaister goes Lux and Ezzy there. And Nighting Star coming out with another Ottoman pick. All right. For the recording.
Nice. Ottoman, I love to see it. I don't know why. I hate playing against this Civ, but I like watching it, tourneys and stuff. Yeah, it's probably because of MDS's success in EPL. It's just like I get good feelings going on when I see Ottoman picked in a tournament. So
yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like a psychological association. You see the Ottoman, you're like, oh, MDS is like maps and nerd.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh man, living in the past.
That's all right. It was one of the glory days. Anyway, players clicked in. I'm gonna be right back. Get some water.
All right, no problem.
I'll let you start it off.
And, I just made a top. All right, that's for another time. All right. So here we are hopping into, this will be game number 5. And this best of 5 series, it is the semifinals of the lower bracket in the ESOC Stay-at-Home Cup. Kaister currently with a 3-2 game lead that puts him on match point. The map is Bering Strait. And the matchup is Aztec versus Otto. Kaister in the color green in the northeast of the map playing Aztec. Nighting Star in the color purple in the southwest playing Ottoman. Really like that these two players chose their own colors and have been consistent throughout the series. Makes it nice for me to cast, easy to kind of pay attention to. So it's a coin start, which sucks for Aztec. They can't really use that unless they want to build a market, which would be, I think, kind of, it would be an interesting use of their wood. I guess if they can get away with it, especially because there are a lot of small wood and coin treasures dotted across the map. There's 45 coin here, an easy 40 wood there, but Kaiser's going to choose his convert on one of these snow monkeys. I don't know how I feel about that because of the prevalence of how many tiger, wood treasures there are. Like, just look at how. I mean, look at it. Just well, okay. I only spy 3. I only spot 3, 4. There's the 4th one. But yeah, this map. I don't know if this map is so good for Ottoman because it's only 2 TP and getting this trading post, I think would be really tough for Ottomans to be able to hold. But Kaiser did lay down a market and is getting hunting dogs now. And going to chop that last bit of wood for a house. Pulled some off because it's got this 40 wood coming in. Nicely pulls his hero back so that his converted snow monkey can get the final kill on that tiger and give himself a little bit more XP. Take a quick look at the decks. Pretty standard here for auto. Does have 8 husks in H4. Sometimes this is like this means it could be a revolt deck, but kind of missing the fort, which is in a lot of revolt decks too. Sends 3 villagers, nothing else in H1. Otherwise standard, like could be H2, could be H3, could be H4 play. Standard stuff with auto. And Kaiser's deck looking pretty normal too. I think this is the exact deck he used in the Grand Chaco game.
This is a different deck from previously, right?
Is it?
Against the Nighting Star picked again. Sorry. Nighting Star's deck is different from.
Yeah. Nighting Stars. It's because he has that 8 husk now.
Yeah.
And I think
and that's what makes me curious, because the decks kind of look superficially the same to me, and because they look similar, they're obviously not similar. They're not the same because they look similar. It means that he consciously chose this one instead of the other one.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering, okay, what's he got in store with this?
Yeah, I mean, as a player, I've trained myself to just have alarm flag or red flags and alarm bells go off whenever I see 8 hussars in an Ottoman deck. Because I'm like, okay, he's gonna revolt. Like, how do I beat this? But revolt, I think, is such a sketchy strat versus Aztec. You were talking about this, like you said, it's good versus Aztec if you don't get right clicked by Pumas. But I'm thinking, how do you not get right clicked by Pumas? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It would seem really hard to hold. I don't know.
It's one of those things where I was talking about specifically Ottoman Fast Industrial.
Yeah.
Because I love doing that strategy. It's not competitive, but it has some competitive viability. And Aztecs are one of the civs that it works against because they're not a good civ, and that's basically the reason.
Yeah.
That is an interesting trading post place.
I like it. Honestly, I like it because in all honesty, he's not going to really be able to keep it, but it's going to distract Kaiser's units from this very aggressive forward base.
That's what's interesting, because Kaiser, he's gonna have a choice available to him, right? He can either do what he wants to do, which is push Nighting Star's base, but then he's basically letting Ottomans go 2 TPs, and 2 TPs where one of them is right in town center line of sight is just morally frustrating.
Yeah. It's like it's like an insult to Kaiser almost. Yeah. But interesting fight going on here. Also, really brutal skirmish here.
Right. Yeah. I've got to be glad on Nighting Star for Nighting Star in this case, because he actually got both trading posts up before losing his Explorer. That Explorer will go down. But even so, after now that this Explorer has done his job, getting all the Aztec Explorer HP, maybe.
It's actually like a fine trade. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Like, I'd still rather have my Explorer than not. But taking down some Aztec HP there is it's perfectly serviceable.
So Nighting Star is already clicked up, and we do have a batch of 5 Mace Holton. It's going to be Kaiser's first unit batch. I don't know. Like, I would have preferred that to be Puma, so you could just immediately siege his TP in the back of his base, but he's going to pop out 5 Maces here. and he's going to ship 10. Sorry, but what do Mace Holtons accomplish? They don't really have a lot of siege, and he actually is going to go back for that TP.
This is.
This is like looking good, I think, for Otto. Like, I think that this is what Otto wants Aztec to do, at least.
Right. It just feels like, okay, if you're going to go back, then I don't know if it's correct to ship 6 Pumas, but it feels weird to make 5, ship 10, and then not immediately right-click into your opponent's base, right? To have to walk all the way back here. You've basically, at this point, made an in-base war hut. He's training another 5 Pumas to go along with this. So he's committing to some sort of H2 sort of thing. But this isn't 20 Pumas right-clicking into Night Star's base right now. And if you're Night Star, that's all you wanted this training was to be doing. Yeah,
that's really good for him. And he's got a barracks up in base, 5 Jans. I think we're gonna see like the 2 Falconet, or I don't know. You'd have to ask, or you'd have to consult the Botto guide. But I don't know if you ship 8 Jans before 2 Falconets here. If you ship 2 Falcons, I think you ship 2 Falcons and just like park your units in your TC and then wait for your next unit shipment before you really push out. But aging with the 4 Huss, very nice for him. I think he should be able to hold whatever pressure is coming out here for Kaister, but it's going to require good defense, to be sure.
He's pulling, maybe losing a villager there. Oh, barely not.
Nice.
He could actually lose this one now.
This one on the coin mine is being very brave.
Yeah.
Oh, tempting fate. I like it. Yeah. Not losing a single villager there.
Nice for Nexarn so far. He's moving his villagers over to this left coin mine. This could turn into a disaster for him in a certain situation. We'll see what happens there. Getting more gens, I guess the 8 gens shipment plus the vet gens, which is fine. It does mean that he has to stay back until the Falconets come out. He still can't win any of these fights, but that should still be fine for him. And more Pumas out from Kaister. So a Falconet timing would be very strong here. 6 Coyote Runners is the next shipment.
I think Falconet's going to be super strong here. And at this point, the Falconets only need to get like 1 volley on the Mace Holton to kill enough of them for these Jans to just dominate. 252 HP, like 24 range attack. Good units. But still, though, Otto is just kind of like low eco. It's just like Ottoman is very contingent upon making the most out of their units. So if this 2 Falconet pop doesn't go his way, then he is in a good spot to lose, I think. But
had to panic build a house just there. But 2 Falconets are hitting. Are they going to get volley?
No.
Just even so, I mean, this is there's definitely a chance here for Kaister to get some nice flank off or some nice surround on these Falconets. There's not a lot of Janissaries to guard.
Stealth Jaguars. That might just do it.
Okay.
See, if you were really paying attention, Nighting Star would see that his pathing was obstructed there. Is he? I think he's. I can't tell if he's noticing or not.
Okay. He got us. Yeah. This actually could still be a good fight for Kaister. One of the Falconets is exposed, and there's just a lot of units around, and that's really what helps. One of these Falconets is taking damage, but not a ton. I think it needs to be focus fired down now by the Mace Weltons, and that might not be happening. Actually, I think that this is going to come out okay for Nighting Star. A lot of the Jans are still alive. Falconet is somehow still alive, going down now, but that's a lot of value.
He did get a lot of value, but that's what I was talking about before that fight. That Falconet really needs to be trained on those Mace Holtons the whole time. I think I counted 3 individual cannon volleys where they weren't targeted at the Mace Holtons. If they were, like all these Mace Holtons would be gone. I mean, there's still not enough of them to challenge these Janissaries, but I think that trade might have just gone all right enough for Kaister that, well, he's not going to lose right now. I think it's still a very close game. But, I mean, Otto's up ahead in a significant amount of score.
Yeah. I think your point about the Falcons needing to hit the Mace Falcons is a fair one. I think, if that were the case, I think this game would just kind of be over at this point, as is. Kaister, he might be behind, but he's not. He hasn't lost it. And he does have a lot of mace wealth, and so he's forcing Nighting Star to not, or he's not allowing Nighting Star to actually push out. And there are more exposed villagers than I'm sure Nighting Star is comfortable with right now. That's going to be hurting its economy even further.
Yeah, this is pretty big of Kaiser to deny this coin shipment for a little while. Although Nighting Star has now just got his home city shipment, and this coin is definitely going to be used on Mamelukes. So,
Right.
sort of a waiting game at this point. Oh, there's so many low HP bills. One getting picked up, now being re-garrisoned in the TC. But I think this Mameluke push is going to be Nighting Star's kind of last hurrah, and it has the potential to like maybe win him the game, but he's got to be careful not lose any more villagers than he has. Like these on the coin miner getting pushed back.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. Great Goats actually here would be nice. Nonetheless, there's not a ton of units out here for Kaister now, to the point where there's actually a Mameluke pop won't be that amazing because there's just not that many maces. There's a lot more Pumas.
Yeah.
But that could be okay for Nighting Star too. It is going to be, it's going to be tough. I forgot that this was actually Nighting Star's last chance. The score is 3-2. He does need to make something happen with this next shipment because he really I think does need to sort of crush this fight and then win the game off that. Otherwise, he's gonna be slowly bled out. His hunt's positioning isn't great after these ones die.
Well, this could maybe be the time. Kaiser ships 600 wood to his war hut. So if Nighting Star cleans this fight and kills the war hut, I mean that could be a nice wood swing there for him. And it looks, yeah, I mean there's just like not a lot of Pumas here. Mameluke's getting back just in time. Really nice micro from Nighting Star. Mamelukes can swing around the south to get on those maces there. But these Pumas are actually, well, I don't know. These Jans went into melee combat are just kind of wrecking the Pumas.
I have to. I don't understand why the Jans are in melee combat.
I mean, they have strong melee, I think, versus infantry. Whatever's happening, it's working.
I found it very confusing to me.
It's working though. Maybe it's not working as well as it could have. Okay, now they bring their guns out, but I think this warhead's gonna go down.
With the fight in ranged combat, it seemed like it was like, oh yeah, he's gonna clean this fight. It's like pure Jans against pure Pumas.
Like, I don't know why not. And yeah.
Man, I need to ask somebody who's good at this game. Like, is that really a thing?
I don't know either. I don't know where this warrior priest went. Thinks he's a villager, but clearly not in that class. So yeah, so nice 200 wood, kind of over to Nighting Star. That's a 400 wood swing, and still has like basically one Mameluke left. This other one, 19 hit points, it can get like punched down with a villager, but building that warhead actually may be on top of the dead hero's line of sight, and that's going to be a nice pickup. I think Nighting Star is actually in a position to even up this series. I don't.
Yeah, I think Nighting Star wins this game. I'm still very confused.
Yeah, me too. Oh, okay. Gosh, I thought that was an out of sync or something.
Yeah. The interesting thing to note actually with that War Hut deletion is that we got a bunch of XP from that. I think we got 69 XP each, right?
Yeah.
That's not insignificant, and that's always like this interesting thing with Observer mode is that it does technically slightly change the game because sometimes it's optimal to delete your, whatever it is, but it doesn't give XP the same way with the number of observers.
Yeah, that's you'd prefer if that would be fixed somehow, but
99% of the time it doesn't matter, but
right.
In this case it was a significant amount of XP.
Yeah, I mean it does affect it, like you're right, and it's hard to say how it affects it because you don't know the different possibilities that could occur. But this is a great pickup because Nighting Star was super far down in eco, but once Ottoman is on equal economic footing, they're in a really good spot.
Yeah. The game went pretty convincingly to Nighting Star after that. There is some
Oh,
villagers down here on
did you
this
see
one
the
of my
Spahi?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was mentioning. Is I think that's what made Kaiser decide that this was not going.
I love seeing Spahis. Maybe my favorite unit. I don't know.
I'm a fan. Yeah, I really hope that in a future iteration of Age of Empires 3, it might be possible to make even more Spahi than you can currently make. Perhaps by
That
training
that
them.
would be great. Like, yeah, for instance, if you could train them. Yeah.
Regardless, Knighting start tying the series up to 3-3. Goes to match point.
Yeah.
That was an interesting game though, and I'm still I kind of came away from that melee mode decision. It just completely stunned. Like,
Yeah, like it's maybe changed my life a bit right there. And
that said, it seemed like it worked out, and then from there, cleaning up the game was I guess pretty trivial for Knighting Star. So yeah, I think it is a tied series at 3-3. But I guess for Keister, he does go, or he does have the what's going well for him is that he's already won with his European Civ, so he can still pick Aztecs.
yeah,
And
but
he does,
he's
but he's also
lost
lost
twice. Like,
Yeah.
are you mentally prepared to pick Aztec again, knowing you just lost twice with them?
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
The narrative you construct here is right. Like, if you lose with Aztecs 3 times in a tournament series, like you're too stubborn about what you're doing.
Yeah.
It requires adaptation. The other right the counter narrative, I guess, if he actually wins with Aztecs, is that those are his Civs, there's these practice with, and even if he loses a game or two with them, it's still what he knows how to do.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's Knighting Star to make the pick, and
I mean, Keister has the benefit of counter picking or counter sipping, right? Because So I think Nighting Star is maybe caught between a rock and a hard place because I think he wants to play Japan,
yeah.
but Keister, I mean, you've lost twice with the Aztec, but I think Aztec is still considered to win that matchup, and I don't think Keister would hesitate to go Aztec versus Japan, but I mean, I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, just the thing with Japan is the Aztec matchup is just such a rough one.
Yeah.
That just the threat of Aztecs does like knock Japan out substantially. Okay, so Netting Star switches to Japan, says I picked Japan. Wait, I see. I think he looks even looking at the Aztecs here and the Japan here without Kai's tracking locked in is like enough to say, okay, wait, let's actually move on that one.
Yeah, I admire his decision to maybe second guess here, to think about it twice, I guess. But maybe he's just kind of actually just brainstorming up the counter Aztec strat.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know. Like, I feel so. Me personally, I've played this matchup a decent number of times, because it's all you get, right? If you pick Japan in tournaments,
Yeah.
everybody's picking it against you, and so I find it not. My understanding is that at the top level, it is Aztec favored, right? The common wisdom of it being Aztec favored is true, right? It's really just not that great for Japan by any stretch of the imagination. It's not even like, if Japan makes it to 15 minutes, they make it out. It's like Aztec still is able to compete at 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I do think that Japan has things that they can do in this matchup. You definitely can't go. You'll die if you try and do them. So you have to do something else. If you send the card that makes you kill all things in one shot from your town center,
Enlist and regulars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll you'll be fine if Aztec plays like a straight bot, but if Aztec doesn't, then you still eventually lose. So you need to I think that various aggressive strategies where you ship a lot of unit cards early on. Is my understanding is that that's the best way to deal with it. Anyway, this is all irrelevant because he's speaking Spain. So
Yeah, but I mean, I wanted to keep talking about it because I actually have played that matchup from Japan in a tournament once, and it was against Kaiser playing. Because it was a GUA sub tournament, so it's random civs. Yeah, and Kaiser never plays Aztec, right? And he hates it. So he always didn't really know what to do. But I like blind shipped enlisted regulars after Heavenly Kami and just threw down shrines everywhere.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I was actually in a winning spot. If I just go H4 instead of pushing out, I just hard turtled.
Yeah.
And I think if Japan can do that hard enough, with walls and Yumis, I don't know. I think that's kind of their one avenue to victory.
Yeah.
But like you said, all irrelevant.
I think it is fair to say that against so with Japan this is true, but especially against Aztecs, there's that whenever you think it's time to push as Japan, especially against Aztecs, it's 10 minutes too early.
Yeah.
Instead of your base another 10 minutes and wait.
That's so true.
Maybe with others. Any other matchup, it's probably 5 minutes too early. Whatever time you think, okay, now it's time to push, wait another 5 minutes and then push.
Yeah.
With Aztecs, wait another 10. You're gonna get cleaned up if you too fast.
Especially because it was a no TP map too, so it's not like Aztec was on Stagecoach or anything. So.
Right.
All right, but here we are. We're launching into the final game, match point for both players, game number 7. In this semifinal match of the lower bracket, the ESOC Stay-at-Home Cup. Looks like it's gonna be France versus Spain between Kaister and Nighting Star. So entertaining series so far. Kind of all the marbles are at stake here. Well, at least the amount of marbles that are at stake for a semifinals match in the lower bracket, and should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm really glad that the series has gone to match point so far. I thought it was going to be, a little bit more one-sided. I thought that Kaister was, coming into this going to look pretty good. He hasn't dropped a game all series, all tournament yet. And Nighting Star has looked good, but I don't think as good. And so the fact that this has gone to match point, we've seen a lot of really good games here. Is a joy to watch. I'm glad I decided to come in for this one to watch.
Yeah, me too. That's a good idea. Also, if Kaiser gets clapped, I can kind of hold that over his head for a while.
Yeah.
In a friendly way, but because he's better than me. So sometimes you just have to take you have to let other people win for you. Sometimes I don't know if that makes sense, but he did find 85 wood off the bat. Going to go for an early TP despite it being a food start. So nice pickup for him. Going to delay his age up maybe just a bit. He's going to chop a bit more wood than normal. But I think all in all, France can usually still get that 14 build age up. Meanwhile, Spain trying to collect some cows, I think. That's with his dog. Yeah, it does collect it too on the east side of the map.
Yeah, looking nice. Looking at Spain's deck, I'm noticing the 12 Swiss Pikemen and 9 Highlanders is an interesting double set of cards. Highlanders being an interesting mercenary in that they have great stats, but they are a musketeer type unit at age 3, which is always has a sort of feels bad experience with them.
Yeah.
But his deck otherwise, it's got the Spanish gold, it's got all the important cards otherwise in age 3. Kaister has just picked his deck. He has some C cards. Nighting Star has notably no C cards, which I wonder. I wonder if it'll. I feel like it may never just actually come up to that point where Kaister actually goes out of the sea. So,
yeah,
oh well.
Maybe not, but also maybe also. I don't know. Both players finding a nice kind of high tier wood treasure in H1, so I think both are going to be pretty happy at their treasuring. But France did find it soon enough to kind of get an early trading post, so he is at the trading post. He has the trading post advantage, which is important in Age of Empires 3, and just kind of doing standard stuff here. I'm curious to see what Spain does. He's got ATP in deck, but I don't think it's worth sending because you can only build 2 trading posts with it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, it's not going to be an ATP most likely. If if France doesn't have a trading post, I wouldn't actually be surprised seeing from last game where Nangstar built 2 trading posts, one in his opponent's base. In ATP, I wouldn't put it past them to do it.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think we'll just see one TP Spain, and then more of a standard FF out of him.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. How many yaks does Kaiser have? 6? Yeah, 6 yaks.
I think it's 6-4, and so.
Yeah, maybe not enough for a pen. I think I'd still build a pen. Maybe not versus Spain though, because Spain can go pretty aggro FF, and you got to be careful not to go too greedy versus that.
Well, we'll see. He's chopping a lot of wood now. It might just be for a market or something like that, but we will have to see. Nahanni, meanwhile, is getting that trading post up.
Oh, he did ship ATP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah, I'm a little yeah, not I'm not the biggest fan either of that decision. Well, I mean, he's probably going to take this trading post. After he'll take Kaister's trading post most likely, and then he'll get a 3 TP stage. The only concern is can he actually maintain that successfully? Because by the time he takes down the trading post, and actually Kaiser is just going to take the second trading post.
This hero,
okay, he's going to yeah.
The hero's going to die. He's going to get HP when he ages up, but he's not going to even get there. Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot! 3 HP! 3 HP! No! No way! No way!
Dog is going to get
All right. Okay. So I mean, that was calculated by Nahanni. He knew that he would get that based on all the probabilities.
Actually, if Kaister had aged up just then, which he almost did, then actually that would have turned around and been different.
Right.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of things going on there. I think the correct decision from Kaister was not to delete that trading post either, because I don't think he knew about the ATP, but the fact that Nightingstar wanted to get out that second TP means that Kaister didn't want to delete it, and he wanted that to get sieged down.
Yeah.
And then the dog, it should have just been a shot from the Spanish explorer instead of letting the dog finish it, because Kaister was very close to aging up there. But as you said, I think Nightingstar, with this galaxy brain calculations, just knew, all the perfect moves. And
so easy. And actually, I mean, he picked up the native scout when he revived the Kaiser's explorer and picked up the explorer again. So kind of milking Kaiser for XP in early H2. And I mean, you were talking earlier about that he would gain control of this TP and try to get stagecoach. I think instead, what's going to happen? He's gonna like ship 8 pikes maybe in H2.
Yeah.
And not worry about stagecoaching it and just like maybe try to go for I don't know, kind of more aggressive.
No, I like the idea of he's got a lot of XP now. Right, he got 90 XP off the explorer. He's gotten 2 trading posts. He's getting actually some nice XP off of these Mongol scouts that he's killing right now. For the 10% cavalry siege, which I'm expecting not to be too relevant over the course of this game, but nonetheless. So an 8 pike shipment is definitely in the cards. And I think that's the best way of just taking down this 3rd trading post, because making units is going to take too long. By the time that happens, it's going to be H3 for both players, and then from there, holding onto this trading post is not, or taking this trading post and holding onto it are all doubtful. And if that's the case, then this ATP definitely doesn't pay off. But if he ships 8 pikes now, then he's got a chance of making that happen. I do like that he's trading dogs and is kind of going around picking up some of the bigger treasures. I think there's there's this 5% cavalry speed, which I'm a lot more a fan of than 10% cavalry siege.
Yeah. 5% cavalry. Did you say speed or hit points?
Speed.
Okay.
Both would be good. I'm a fan of speed.
Yeah, there is a hit point variation of the same treasure, but I think it used to spawn on this map, but I think Kaiser Klein, who's sort of balancing the treasures on EP, kind of removed it. And my brain kind of put words in your mouth that weren't there. But okay, yeah, 5% cavalry speed, going to be nice. Make those Lancers a little speedier. He doesn't have 4 Lancers in deck, which is kind of a card you typically see. As we mentioned, kind of has room for that. The 9 Highlanders instead.
Yeah, if not the 4 Lancers, then at least the 5 Hussars. So I am noting that there is this kind of cavalry light in H3. But he did have 2 shipments coming into H3. He shipped one of them just now. I didn't actually get a chance to see which one is in queue. But yeah, he's going to have a lot of shipments early on. But unfortunately, yeah, he doesn't have that 3rd trading post, and as a result, this ATP is still probably not the best one to pick.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, I don't think it's paid for itself in XP, but indirectly, it got him to kill Kaiser's Explorer, and with free reign over the treasures on the map, I think it has indirectly paid for itself in XP with killing those 6 treasure guardians and getting the 90 XP from the hero twice. So,
right.
I don't think it's hurt him, is what I'm saying. And now I think he's just going to go for some plop strats. Like you said, 2 shipments banked up. Just gonna click them and plop, I think. So we'll see if it works.
Wait, do we call these plop strats now?
What?
I didn't realize we called these plop strats. Back in my day, we called it the Spain pain train, where you just start jamming into your opponent's face, just one after the other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I don't even know the origin of plop strats. I just I don't know. I think they're both accurate. But wait, who? Okay, so Knighting Star is trying to do the Spain pain train, but I think Kaiser is maybe trying to plop now with Musketeers, Vet Musk, and Cuirassiers and 2 Falcons.
A lot of Lancers though, and actually there's only 2 queers.
Yeah, I mean, if Falcons pop from this TC, I think this would be a good fight for Knighting Star. Minutemen come out, so I think he's gearing up for it. This villager's gonna rip, but. I mean, you want to see the hero in the fight though.
Yeah, with the dogs as well.
Yeah, but regardless, it's enough to push Kaister back, and so now I feel like Kaister's kind of on the back foot here.
Yeah, I mean, so I think for Knighting Star that could have been if things had gone slightly differently, that would have just been a complete cleanup. And then winning the game from there. If the Explorer had been there, if he had maybe tried to engage with his Lancers and then let the Falcons pop and go for the kill, right? That was a very dangerous spot for Kaiser to be in, and the fact that he hasn't lost the game yet is perhaps a success in and of itself.
Yeah, and again, instead he's gonna refocus on this outpost because he needs this hunt, because he hasn't really herded this one, and he's just now getting steel traps, which is not something. I mean, France usually gets that immediately on H2, so kind of interesting. Shipping 5 Dragoons and making Dragoons, so he's got this interesting Musk Dragoon kind of composition, but strangely enough, that's actually kind of what he wants versus this almost pure Lancer. And some rods. Like Lancer Rod, I think Dragoon Musk is like the best combo, so game deciding fight maybe gonna happen here soon.
These Falconets from Knighting Star, I'm a little concerned about that positioning.
Yeah. Oh no.
It said, okay, now he really needs to be.
Yeah, he can kind of let them know where they were, but both players are being kind of hesitant to really pull the trigger. I think it's game 7. Like you don't want to really commit to any mistakes. Now 9 rods. This is going to be go time. This is a lot of Lancers.
Great Falconet positioning for Knighting Star. They're on the Musketeers, whereas the green Falconets are both packing and unpacking, and also not doing a lot of damage. I think this is actually just going to be fine.
Even Falc trade, but the rods get on Kaiser's Falconet, so now 1 Falc still alive, going to clean up those Musketeers, and this fight actually went really well for Knighting Star. Kaiser's going to get out of it alive. He's got only Dragoons, so he kind of sacked off his units that can't kite, but. Well, the economies is still definitely in favor of Kaiser, but now he's making Cuirassiers, and I don't know. I've just, quoting a lot of Hazza today, but Hazza's in my stream today, and he says, I don't know if you really want to make Cav versus Spain because Rodoleros are so good. So maybe Cuirassiers is a different story. I was playing Dutch, but I think primarily Dragoons at this point, especially because you've only seen him make Lancers and Rods. Like, he doesn't have a lot of skirmishers on the field.
Right. Yeah, just 5 skirmishers coming in now, and I think your point is correct. Is that Radoleros are, they're a very unique unit in that they're just, they're very fast, but also work as hand infantry, so they can beat small numbers of skirmishers. Dragoons have a harder time running away from them than they might.
Oh no! Those Cuirassiers getting caught out of position. The Dragoons, yeah, the Dragoons weren't really in position to save them, so that's about 4 entire Cuirassiers going down. I mean, military pops are still like relatively even, anyways. This Falconet's going to be a huge boon though for Knighting Star, just to whittle away this 8 skirmisher shipment. But 37 to 28 eco pop, like we can't forget that. Spain is on a clock, and the train can't afford to be late, so to speak. It's got to hit its timing, and Kaister buying himself some time.
I do think that this Falconet is a bit of a liability for Knighting Star, just kind of by virtue of just being difficult to control. I'm noticing Knighting Star is boxing these Radoleros and Lancers together, and as a result, and I think he's trying to control these Falconet and skirmishers together, and so it's kind of he's maybe a 2-3 control group sort of style. Spain has some trouble just managing all these control groups because they have multiple different types of units that they want. You want your rods to not be in the same group as your dragoons. You want your falconet separate. You want your explorer kind of able, accessible for dogs. There's a lot of control groups to manage, and as a result, I think that Knighting Star is feeling a bit of the pressure here. And this it's another unit that has to be controlled, but could be a good
I mean, that Falconet's just getting kind of forgotten.
I think it's just the control group issue is that there's so many units that he has to manage.
Yeah. But I mean, Swiss Pike coming in, so hesitant. Knighting Star hesitant to really commit, and maybe that hesitance is sort of going to bite him in the butt here, because a lot of DPS now on these Lancers and Swiss Pikes. These Lancers are not carded at all, so not as strong as we typically see them. However, these Swiss Pikes are strong. I mean, zoning off like 8 Cuirassiers by themselves. And Lancers kind of killing some CDB. That's nice, evening up the ecos, and I think militarily this trade was kind of equal for Knighting Star. Oh, those Swiss Pikes getting big swings on the Dragoons, though, and a few skirmishers caught out of positioning. This is, I think, actually a pretty good fight for Knighting Star.
I think Lancers just clap skirmishers.
Yeah, even like really, no cards on them at all either, and you're still clapping. And there are still like 4 Swiss Pike here still alive. Mixing with these rods, hard to micro against. You have to notice that. And now these Cuirassiers just weren't contributing to that fight at all, just because they're completely zoned off by the Swiss Pikes. And just like that, Knighting Star has almost equaled the economies, and now it's a different ball game because France usually enjoys this matchup being up in eco, and needs to only take good trades from here on out, I think.
It's a really interesting fight because the Swiss Pikes, I think that they were in different positions, and at some point there weren't a lot of Swiss Pikes defending or fighting those squares. And yeah, the Falconet was just not in the fight. Knighting Star is pulling it up now.
Now it's coming in.
Yeah, but the Lancers on the skirms, the Lancers just do so much damage to the skirms that it's going very well for Knighting Star.
Go ahead.
No, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, Knighting Star's pikes really lagged behind there. Those Cuirassiers, if they wanted to, could have swung, like just turned around and just deleted this Falconet in a couple skirms and ran back. But like we said, I think game 7 mentality is in full effect here for both players, and we're just seeing kind of safe play. But has Kaister not scouted this hunt? I mean, he's bringing his CDB now.
I see it in the fog. Like, I have my fog war on, and I still see the hunt.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Yeah.
And CDB pool, I mean, they have great coach research, so I think it's now or never for Kaister. Really good positioning on those, actually. But they do have range resist, not melee resist, so maybe these rods will run through them a little faster. But okay, a lot of colonial age pikemen are going to be dying to these cuirassiers. And this looks like this fight is going in favor of Kaister. He's sacking some CDBs to get it, but there's no more cavalry alive for Nightstar, but no more cuirassiers alive for Kaister. I don't know. It's close. It's just another close one. And oh, batch of 5
It's
lancers.
actually going towards Nightstar, just barely. It's close, but as long as with these 5 lancers, that's going to be doing a lot of damage. There's enough there's only a few skirmishers actually for Nightstar, but it might be enough. The thing is that even though this fight might not technically go in Nightstar's favor, it might be a tactical defeat. He got a lot of couriers after that one, and the fight actually may still go in Nightstar's favor anyway. This is going to be.
I think this is actually GG. I mean, like kind of GG. Well, I mean, Spain is up 38 to 27 pills, and that's significant at this point. And Kaiser has no access to food, really.
The thing is, I don't think Kaister knows yet how far behind he is in villagers, and so this game may still actually proceed for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that Spain being ahead of Eco is significant. And okay, Kaister actually doesn't know the position and is calling GG there.
Wow.
And that was a really good last game.
That excellent series, honestly, and I think the underdog kind of taking this one. Nightstar, kind of coming from the shadows, member of the Chinese community, kind of pulled off a nice 3-1 versus Look Tom, and now versus Kaister, like we said, I think hasn't dropped the game yet this series.